Hello, everybody. Uh, this is, I guess I just introduce myself first. Vincent Kua, um, and I'm here with M.H.Cannon, who is doing all the tech stuff for this chat tonight. We lost one. We're also here with J.M. Hunter. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves as well, but this is going to be the second little chat and drawing section of just a few friends talking about what's going on in the world because of everything that happened last week or the last couple of weeks. The death of George Floyd and the protests that have been happening around the country since. Sunday was the first one, and we just wanted to kind of basically unload a lot of our feelings and thoughts about what was going on, and try to kind of shed some light on what's going on within our own community. And I thought it was best that we try to do a second one and maybe do something more regular depending on what's going on. So, Jam, want to introduce yourself?
Thanks for having me. My name is J.M. Hunter. You can call me J.M. Hunter, whatever you remember. It's all good. And I'm a artist, comic creator, educator, and I'm a person of mixed race, Black, Native American, and Filipino, and German Hungarian. So,
M.H.Cannon. Obviously, we're on my channel, so hopefully, if you guys were watching, you probably know who I am by now. But I'm a graphic designer and artist, illustrator in Hawaii. We did the stream Sunday. It was mainly just catharsis for Vincent and I to kind of get stuff off our chest, and I can't say we had fun, but we did find it helpful. So Vincent wanted to do another one, so we're here to do it. And I know Vincent had a couple more friends that wanted to join in, JM being one of them, and I don't know what happened to Mr. Johnson. But we should be joined by another person shortly, and one of my friends, Jamie Ferronda, may join us later. But anyway, this is your chance to just, especially for you, James, since you weren't here with us last time, just kind of talk about whatever you want. I already have a language warning, so, I let some expletives slip last time just because of the way I felt. So, but the language warning is up there, so there may be some cuss words that come across. Anyway, Vincent.
So Malcolm actually just he left because he was kind of unprepared for the setup and everything. So I'm not sure if he's going to try and come back or not.
Well, I don't know that there's a required setup.
Nope, I'm going to be drawing upside down because I don't have the proper setup yet.
Yeah, but I have a setup, but that's because I do streams fairly regularly now.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up some of the artwork I did last time just to give some idea of stuff. I did like a Django, and there's this piece with say their names. And this is just, while we were talking about stuff, we're drawing too. And since we're in the geeky realm, in the comic realm and stuff like that, you'll see that we did stuff, along that line.
Yeah, I think I figured I would use the opportunity to try and get some of these sketches done and auctioned off for the Bail project. And if anybody is wanting to donate to also any of the other organizations that are helping out with the protests with Black Lives Matter, please do. But these are some of the ones that I did on Sunday.
Those are nice.
These are on 9x12 Bristol board. So, and I'll be putting these up for auction probably this weekend, if not earlier.
So, Vince, what fresh hell have we had in the last few days that you'd like to talk about?
I've been doing a lot of like online debating about defund the police, the slogan, and a lot of the misconceptions about what that means. Because it's also been kind of said kind of along the same lines as abolish the police, and also with Minneapolis basically voting their police department dismantled this week. I think it was a pretty big debate over the last couple of days. It's like, what does that mean? Does it mean just getting rid of all police departments all across the board and having no law enforcement at all? Or is it something much, much more nuanced than that? So have you guys heard?
There are protesters that are behind the or backing the kind of the abolish police sentiment too. So that's a contributing factor to how people interpret it. But a lot of people use that interpretation for convenience, so that it's easier to oppose. It's like the straw man argument. Oh, we can't get rid of all police, and that's not what we're saying. At least the majority of people aren't saying that. Yeah, what do you think?
In regards to defunding the police, I think that something needs to happen for sure. Now, again, people are quick to jump whenever you say defund the police. They think you're going to strip the whole police department down, and obviously that's not what's going to happen. Even though in some cases, some departments probably should happen, but definitely the systematically this setup has been against marginalized groups from the get-go. I mean, it's the police departments as they are now. From a racial standpoint and a suffrage standpoint, is the legacy of in my opinion, the legacy of like the systematic racism and the slavery, and Jim Crow and everything like that. So while people that white people might look at these police departments and see like a Norman Rockwell picture, the police man giving a kid ice cream, but the truth of the matter is that the incarceration rates and the systems are against black and brown people of color, and that's the for the profit, prisons for profit, to keep people like just people of color and black people down as far as making sure that they're not economically equal with white people or just advancing. I mean, look what happened to Black Wall Street, which is back in the news again because of what Trump just announced. So,
I'm sorry, which announcement are you referring to?
I'm referring to the fact that now he's going to start doing his rallies again. His little Hitler rallies that he does with the maggots and everything. And he's about to start, but he's going to do it on Juneteenth. So June 19th, and on our holiday, Juneteenth, and he's going to do it at Tulsa.
Since you brought up Juneteenth, can you kind of just say what that might be for people that aren't aware?
So Juneteenth is basically, and it's relatively, I've known about it since I was a kid, but I didn't know about it. You know what I mean? Like until like later on in my adulthood. But Juneteenth basically is basically considered like Freedom Day, is when like the last state, I believe it was Texas, finally read the Emancipation Proclamation to the slaves, letting them know they were free, even though it was later than when the proclamation went out. So basically, just the end of slavery, to put it bluntly, to generalize here, which I don't like to do. So basically, Juneteenth is a day of liberation, basically, for slaves and black people, and African Americans. And then, what better FU than to plan a rally, like a white supremacist systematic racism rally, that on that day, and in one of the worst places where the atrocities were committed towards black people with Tulsa and the massacre in Tulsa. And you can't.
He's doing the rally there in Tulsa.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that you can't tell me that's not calculated.
That's Stephen Miller. That's got him written all over it. Maybe some Hope Hicks in there too. Like Trump's not that smart. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, to come up with that on his own. He doesn't know dates. I bet you he doesn't even remember his own kids' birthdays. You know what I mean? So so that's not him. But he's definitely going to eat it up, and he's going to do his part, and he's going to go out there and bloat all over everybody about what a great person he is and how bad the rest of us are, and why we should why people should vote for him. And then you know what? I bet you this might sound a little bit conspiracy wise because I'm not one for that type of thing. But let me just project now, and then we'll see if I'm right in a week or so. Okay, what if because he always likes to pour gasoline on a fire, right? So what if he's planning this to go in there, hype up his base, and then in the hopes that Black people and protesters, especially on Juneteenth, surround the place and do their own rally or protest him being there. So that way there could be some kind of static or tension that happens, and then he could sit there and say, "Oh, my life was in danger. This is why we have to have these extra strict laws and police laws and stuff like that." I mean, short of declaring martial law, because I wouldn't put it past that guy. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're hoping for fallout. I feel like they're managing expectations to where they could go either way and feel like this benefits them, at the cost of everyone else.
No, that makes sense. I mean, obviously I'm not a fan, but his marketing folks are pretty savvy as far as knowing their audience.
Yeah, they definitely know their dates.
I do have Jamie with us. I'm going to bring her in real quick. Jamie, when you get in, just introduce yourself real quick, and then we will carry on with the conversation.
Say hi to Tiffany in the chat room.
Hey, Jamie. Hey, Michael. Hey, Vincent.
Right, who are you, Jamie?
Hello.
Hello. So, who doesn't know who I am? Oh, okay. So I'm friends with Michael from Comic Jam Hawaii. He put this call out for artists to draw, and I said, okay, let's do this. I missed the last one, so I'm gonna join this one. Let's see. I actually busted out some watercolor for this.
All right. So Jamie, we were just talking about
okay,
the Trump getting ready to have his rally start up again.
Oh yes.
With the extreme coincidence, they're going to be on Juneteenth and in Tulsa. I am. So you're welcome to chime in your thoughts there if you want to, or somebody else can talk about whatever they like to, I guess.
All right. Okay, you guys just when I came in, you guys were like talking about something, so just keep talking, and then I'll figure out what's happening, and then I'll jump in when I can. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Vincent, back to you then.
What are you guys all working on right now?
I just started sketching out a Black Panther.
Nice.
You can see that.
I'm working on a homework. I'm in my MFA program for comics, so I have an comic thesis basically, and so I have an assignment that I have to do a comic by Friday.
You're at CCA, right?
Huh?
You're at CCA now, right?
What'd you say? Yeah, I'm at CCA. I'm in my final year, so so one more this summer, and then next summer I'm done.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
For those who don't know, CCA is California College of the Arts. They have an MFA program in comics, and it's amazing.
Yeah. Now, are you still with Oni?
Yeah, I just started in November, so I'm like really new.
Yeah, well, congratulations again on that.
Thanks.
Yeah. So basically, I could tell you the story of what I'm working on right here. I've so, as I said, I'm mixed, and so my dad is the one that's actually Black in my family. My mom is just Filipino and German, and so I didn't grow up with a Black mother, but one thing I definitely learned was you don't mess with Black women. So this is a comic of a memory of mine, because I have to do a memory or a conversation where I got my ass kicked. I was first grade, and I was in my little Captain America costume, those little plastic costumes they used to have in the 80s with the plastic mask,
Yep.
And And I don't know what I said to this girl. She was 7 years old, but she was tall. And next thing I know, she's whipping my ass, and I'm on the ground, and she's squashing my face in with her foot. I'm
Oh,
in the
whoa.
stand. Captain America is down, man down. All right, so she's just squishing her just like moving her foot back and forth, breaking and crackling the plastic of my Captain America mask with my face underneath it. So, and then later on, like this is at an after school program. Later on, my parents come because this is Halloween. My parents come, and something happens that would never be allowed to happen in today's daycare facilities, as far as confidentiality, things like that. You would never let the parents talk to the other child. You know what I mean?
Oh,
There's a
yes,
fight.
yeah.
Yeah, but back then it was the 80s, and so what happened happened. This is in Orange County, California, where I'm from Cali. So they're talking to her, right? And they're just kind of like giving her the big stern lecture and scold and everything. But get this, it's Halloween, and in the most messed up appropriation ever, my dad, a black man, is dressed like a samurai, full on face paint and everything, and my stepmother is in a full on geisha outfit. So this is just like the most jacked up appropriation type of mixed relation, messed up thing you could see visually. And then I think about it, because we're talking about race and things of that nature. And I fast forward it today, I'm like, man, that was pretty messed up. They should have been dressed like that. So yeah, I don't know. So that's what I'm drawing. So I'm trying to capture that in this comic. So
Oh, nice. Are you working on like a specific project, like a memoir or
yeah,
illustrated
so
memoir or something?
my
Cool.
thesis is part memoir, part doing systematic racism and social injustices, analyzing that
Nice.
and analyzing the different cultures as a mixed person, where I fit in, as well as taking on different things like talking about what Black Lives Matter deals with, and as well as the border crisis and things of that nature. And then maybe some stories about my relatives in the Philippines and things of that nature. And then so it's a mixture. It's kind of like two anthologies basically, so that way I can have some room to play with stories and get them done in like 8 pages or 12 pages. So
Nice.
and change the art style up.
Yeah. Are you gonna try and publish that at all?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like 2021, I'm gonna be hitting up every publisher I can. So like I'm gonna start hitting up every publisher I can probably here in fall once I get some pages cranked out and everything. So I definitely want to get it out there, looking at the different literary things and all that. So
Cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you. Right now, I'm trying to get murals going for Black Lives Matter. I'm going to meet with somebody tomorrow locally here outside of Columbus, Ohio, is where I'm at now, and try to get. Oh man, this is so funny. I'm sorry, I'm just getting into my own drawing, but try and see if they're interested in me going ahead and painting a mural or two outside for them to display. So there's a lot of nice artwork that's going out right now, but then there's also a lot of challenges that come with that. People that just right now, I was on Facebook before I got on here, and locally Columbus, there's a topic, an article from a local media. Hey, what are we going to do to preserve these murals, these beautiful Black Lives Matter pieces and murals? And then you got these cranky ass people in the comment section yelling and saying, trash it, burn it,
Oh, wow, no.
Yeah, do that. Use it, burn it to scrap to replace the riots and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, you don't care about the riots, you don't care about businesses. So we got a long fight ahead of us, man.
I was going to ask if there was like a public arts commission in your city that's commissioning all the artists to do that. There in Portland, there's so much of that going up. Partially from private businesses who have the boards up on their windows, partially from there's a citywide like public arts commission that's asking artists to do that in public spaces. And it's wonderful to see. It's wonderful to see all these murals that are kind of celebrating Black life, Black experience all around the city.
Yeah, I mean, getting the local municipalities and whatnot on your side in regards to public arts and just arts in general is so key to actually having a productive, progressive art scene, And it takes because without that backing, it's in one ear, out the other ear, or shall I say, in through a set of eyes, out the back of their heads. When it comes to most people not appreciating what art does for a community, what it does for your ideology, and your and the conversation going forward, as well as a historical record. So.
Your question actually made me think about what's going to happen to these murals once they come down, since a lot of them are actually temporary.
Were you asking me or Jamie? I'm sorry.
It's just what you were talking about in terms of people saying, what are we going to do with these when later on?
Yeah,
it just made me think about what's happening in Portland and what's going to happen to these murals here.
Yeah. Oh, where you're at?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Where you at? Oakland?
Portland, Oregon.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. You had to move, huh?
Yeah, I moved from Oakland.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? It'd be nice if there was like a traveling installation piece or something, or exhibit, like turn them into exhibit pieces, throw the hanging wire on the back of them and or chains. Oh, that's kind of iconic, right? And hang them up in the museum. Let people walk up to them. The conversation doesn't stop, when it goes out of fashion
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep the momentum, right?
Yeah. If anything, Trump would love for this to stop happening, probably, so that way he could focus on just trying to talk about the economy or whatever come November. But truth of the matter is I think this is because there's going to be another spread of viruses happening already. So you don't have everyone distracted by sports, football, and all the other usual distractions. So all you have is pandemic and the war on black and brown people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So either you're hurting Asians because you want to blame them for the virus, or you're hurting Latinx people because of the border thing, or you're hurting black people because that's just something that you do for that's just something you do for pastimes, I guess. Good old America has always done. And then we can't leave out the LGBTQ people. I mean, they're trans people are being slaughtered left and right.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Tiffany in Korea says, sorry, where'd he go? We are seeing history in the making. We have to preserve it.
Yeah,
we got
it. Yeah. So this is big. It's happened before with as far as the civil rights movement, as well as Watts, and then again in '92. But this is supposed to be the biggest one. And when you look at the 50-state initiative of people finally standing up and saying no more, enough, Black Lives Matter, which really means that it's not just Black Lives Matter. It's like, okay, Black Lives Matter, and then and then everyone else that's being marginalized and penalized also, that also is in the conversation. Black lives just happen to be the most prominent one on the surface, and constantly, statistically, I believe they're the highest ones getting killed. But then also globally, you got people in South Korea that are protesting. Iran, probably not Russia. They probably got that shit on lock. But probably not the Philippines, because that guy is not playing around.
Duterte? Oh,
yeah, he's scary. So
tell me about it. I'm protesting like two areas right now. So I'm here in the U.S. and I'm like, and I have like family still in the Philippines. So
okay. So you're Filipino too. All right.
Yes.
Where's your family at?
Manila, man.
Oh,
Manila.
same here. Yeah, same here. Yeah. So we got cousins, that are all aunts and uncles, that kind of thing. So I think their last names are common. Last names like Villanueva and Ignacio. So I mean, it's like, I guess that's like Smith out here. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So
anyway, continue. Sorry, just had to put that in.
No, definitely. I mean, that's another story I want to do, an anthology called I Pinoy or whatever, where it's just like Filipino American stories, and talking about just comparison to what maybe their relatives or versus like what their life is like here and things of that nature. So.
Steve? did you grow up with the Filipino heritage in your upbringing? I guess.
Are you talking to me or Jamie?
You.
Oh,
Because
only in
you're
this,
in Orange County. You said.
huh?
You said Orange County is where you grew up.
Well, I grew up all over Southern California, especially when my
Oh,
parents were divorced. But Diamond Bar, LA County is where my grandfather, who wasn't Filipino, he was in the army, met my grandmother in the Philippines, and she was in charge of the entertainment, like dancing and USO, and so they met, and then he, moved her back to Los Angeles. So like Diamond Bar, LA County, he was a lawyer, and basically, so I grew up with as far as I didn't speak Tagalog or anything like that, but I grew up with like just some of the basic foods like, and then my grandmother cussing and that's about it. Unfortunately, I didn't get as much as I really would have liked to. um so she would we would send all my clothes, all my and some of my toys and stuff, and I think one of my Nintendos unfortunately got sent back. We'd send them back to the PI, and
no,
everything like that. And then she would always be on the call with them. But until Facebook, I didn't get to talk to any of my relatives there. You know what I mean? So
wow.
unfortunately, other than some of the cuisine, not the adventurous cuisine, just the lumpia and pancit, and and fried rice and adobo, just the safe stuff, as I call it. So now I'm on a journey as well to track down more of that and stuff like that, especially with the more of the indigenous, Philippine, because I'm working on some of the mythology, taking some of the Filipino mythology and incorporating it into my comics.
I'm interested to hear that.
Well, I can show you, since I've already got, let me go back to here. The comic happens to be in front of me. So, all right. So we had, I always mess up her name, but I think is it Mayori or
Mayuri. Mayari. It's Mayari.
there we go. Goddess of the Moon, right?
Yes.
Yes. So this is called I Met the Sun, and this is a story where she is basically trapped on the moon and been forgotten after the war with her brother, who was the god of the sun. Remember when she lost an eye and everything?
Apolaki.
Yes. So she's just there, like kind of secluded to the moon, and she meets I'm trying to find, I have it on the screen here, but I'm trying to find the color version. Do I not have the color version in here? But at any rate, that's a problem with saving so much, you end up losing your stuff. So, oh, here it is. Okay, so I kept a simple palette of trying to avoid this light. Here we go. Visible. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have her, and then I kind of like trying to bring my cultures together. So she's going to visit. She thinks it's like she's supposed to. There you go. See, Apolaki. She's supposed to meet him. Every so often she meets her brother. Instead somebody else. And so here we have the African goddess of the sun. So and Oahu. And so they kind of strike up a friendship. So just think Shira, I guess you could say, And so I'm going to lean this more towards more of a feminine thing about the, and then because the masculine gods are too busy fighting over on the sun. So every time there's an eclipse or like a lunar eclipse, she's supposed to meet him and all that. So it's kind of like what happens afterwards. And then I'll do flashbacks to when she was the warrior, more of a warrior form, fighting and everything. So that's basically it right now. Just me kind of tiptoeing into it.
Cool.
See, I got a comment from Tiffany on Korea, the protests in Korea. Can definitely confirm South Korea, even black soldiers on base are starting to stand up and speak out about racism within the ranks.
Oh, that's great news, Tiffany.
Yeah, and I understand South Korea also even has their issues in with certain type of things. From my friends that would go over there and teach, and then some of them married. I think it's kind of everywhere, honestly. So I think I don't know if this response is just the world saying, you know what, we've had enough, and the rest of you elite people that have money and want to have war games or play politics, we're sick of your shit, basically, and we all just want to survive and pursue happiness and things like that, and we're tired of it. I think as a whole, I feel like the world's soul is just tired. So
I think so. I mean, I like to think so. I mean, enough is enough, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
agreed. There's a lot we have to tackle. It's not just Black Lives Matter. Once that's done, once that's done, I mean, like we got to get back on that border. These kids are in cages. I mean, so we got to really, we got a lot of work to do.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, this is a constant worry, but every time something like this happens, I'm always worried when the momentum dies down.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's kind of one of the things I mentioned to you last time we talked, is because I'm old enough to remember other protests and other riots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're still here.
Yeah, same here. I'm 42 years old, so I mean,
Michael, can you Google something for me? Because I
Google
cannot
something for you?
Google. Yeah, can you Google what the Nubia's eyes color are?
Who's?
Nubia, she's the Black Wonder Woman.
Oh, Nubia. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Nubia, yeah. I don't know what her eye color is, and I can't Google right now because my phone is on the just pointed downwards. I want to say brown, but just to make sure, or hazel.
Looks like green.
Gray? Oh, okay.
Green.
I was very wrong then.
Jade.
green, verde.
Gray? Okay, gray. All right.
Green,
Green.
verde.
Green?
Yeah,
Oh,
verde.
okay. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
That's
Green.
gotcha. I was very wrong then. Right. Thanks. Thank you.
Reminder for the people that are watching, or if you come in and watch, you're welcome to post a question or comment. If you're a fellow artist, if you want to come in, you can message me and I can send you the link.
So from you've all probably covered this in your last session because this is not the first session.
That's okay. We can rehash stuff.
Just from other, I mean, it appears that everyone here is a person of brown, pigment and whether Asian, Hawaiian, things of that nature. What is it like seeing this all happen from your point of view?
It's very easy to be detached. I can see a lot of Filipinos in particular saying, they're basically saying, oh, it's not our problem. We have our own problem, back in the Philippines. And it's easy to fall into that pattern, I think, because, it's not, good thing it's not us. I can kind of hear that between the lines,
Yeah.
between what they tell me, and man, so it's kind of tricky talking to Asians that are over here. I mean, I can understand if I'm talking to somebody that's over in the Philippines. I mean, they have their own shit, crap. I mean, stuff to deal with.
Jamie, it's okay. You can curse on this one.
All right. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. I mean, they have their own shit over there. No, but but because I'm a very recent implant to the U.S. I just moved here 2017.
Okay.
So I cannot put. I know it. Wait, I'm trying to figure out how to say it in English because it's in Tagalog in my head. But okay, wait. Yeah. The best I can say is it's so easy for, I mean, my other minorities to think, oh, it's not our problem, I guess. But the thing is, the next minority could be Asians.
Exactly. If not now,
if not now,
it will be. But yes.
Yeah. So it's what's the term I'm looking for? Slippery slope.
See,
Is
this
that
is what
the
I've been following.
Vincent's holding up a Facebook live stream panel on the Phil Lam response to police brutality and national uprising.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's a group I follow. So if you're
Yeah.
wondering, yeah,
So
So
Phil Lam being Filipino American.
if anybody is available on Saturday, 4 to 6 p.m., right on Facebook.
Okay, I'm gonna follow these guys too then.
yeah, because
All
there's
right.
you know how you were talking about how there's people in the Filipino community that aren't concerned with it. Not only that, some of them are conservative. They're Catholic conservative types, you know. And then that group is even like actually I need to plug my computer in, but they're confronting racism with the light skin versus the darker skin in the Filipino community as well. So that group is like a really nice progressive group to follow that's tackling all these issues head on, not just Black Lives Matter, but within their own community. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. All right. I'm gonna check that out because I'm mostly on Instagram, so whatever I can find on Instagram, that's what I follow.
And Jamie, since you missed the first one, is there something in particular you'd like to talk about? It's okay if we've already talked about it. You weren't here, so.
Okay. So it's good. I feel like it's good that people are fired up about Black Lives Matter, right? But people over here are asking, or in my community are asking, okay, so it's a bad thing. What are we gonna do now? And for me, the answer to that is let's tackle defunding the police. So if you're looking for what's the next step, that's for me. That's the logical thing.
Now,
I mean, that's the thing we can do.
when you say fund the police, in what?
All right.
How do you mean that? Because there's a couple different meanings right now that are floating
Yeah,
around.
there is. Yeah. So you know how police have like such a high budget have such a high operating budget, like it's disgustingly so much higher than like mental health or education or like schools or like the stuff that's supposed to address like homelessness, so instead of putting like a lot of funding into police, I mean, those guys are overworked too, they say. I mean, they're called in for every little bit of shit that happens. Like, oh, there's a homeless guy, call the cops. Oh, there's a schizophrenic guy wandering around homeless in the park, call the cops. Oh, there's a issue in school, call the cops. So, instead of giving everything to the cops, I mean, fund the institutes that are supposed to address those things anyway, and they're better equipped to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the organizations that have been working to defund the police. This isn't something that's kind of popped up in the middle of the protest. Like, this has been the focus of a lot of organizations for many years. And that's one of the big things that they are trying to push, is that it's not taking all of the money away from law enforcement. It is reallocating that money across a bunch of social programs.
That's the term I'm looking for. Sorry,
Yeah.
Reallocating, not really taking money away, but reallocating some of the funds to,
And there are a lot of local police chiefs who applaud that, because they are overworked. They are the only people that are being called for everything. And
right. It's not just a matter of being overworked; it's being misworked. Where they're
misworked, yeah.
Right.
For stuff they shouldn't be doing.
Right.
So do you guys like watch Law and Order, like SVU? No? Okay, so it's one of my favorite shows, right? And then I'm gonna tell you guys, if you watch the earlier seasons, like at season 1, 2, 3, until I think maybe 6, it's like super hard to watch, especially in these times, because they do the Jack Bauer interrogation techniques, like they beat up suspects, like, so it's hard to watch. But so the star of the show, Mariska Hargitay, so she kind of made the show grow up a lot. I think that's why it's the only Law and Order show that really stood the test of time. So she required like the cops in her show to undergo training to help out mentally and emotionally the suspects. so she can handle like rape victims and not treat them as, as the bad guy. So they stopped victim blaming at around season 17, I think, or 15. So they stopped doing that. So they're more conscious about how they talk to suspects, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I think it's, yeah. So I think it's it's very subtle, but I think that's why I kind of ended up liking the show in the long run, because they grew along with the times,
Mm.
Ice-T was mentioning that.
Yeah. Ice-T, yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, because been on a body count kit, his other band.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was talking about how he feels like their show does their best to try and show things to the nature that you were talking about. So if I was gonna watch a Law and Order, it would be that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's like the only best one, especially after they got rid of like that cop who keeps on beating up.
Is that the Kingpin from
suspects.
Daredevil?
Oh man.
D'Onofrio?
Shucks.
It probably is the guy who went on to play Kingpin. He's a good actor though.
No, it was Christopher Meloni, I think.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he has his own spin-off now, which is kind of stupid, I think. I mean, he was like the least popular.
I like him better in Happy.
His character was.
Have you ever seen Happy? He plays the title character in Happy. He plays a cop, so right. So I like to think that this is what happened to him after Law and Order.
Yeah, so it's a good thing they got rid of that guy. Anyway, so I just kind of pointed that out. Anyway, going back to the question, which I kind of derailed from the how do you feel about seeing your what was that? Seeing Asians?
Just how does it feel to see another marginalized group, like what's happening to another marginalized group, and then the reactions to it from whether it be pro, against, systematic, like with the government or local law enforcement, or just the regular neighborhoods and everything like that. That was kind of like just but you kind of answered already, so.
Yeah. So I just kind of put it back so somebody else can answer the question.
Okay.
Here, this is Tiffany responding to your mentioning of like if it's the blacks today, who's next kind of thing. And Tiffany says it reminds her of a Holocaust quote. Saw it in DC at the Holocaust Museum. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unions, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the epitome of why I'm so like intense about trying to be an ally for all groups, because whenever it was like stuff happened to immigrants or dreamer kids, or the border crisis, I feel that, and I'm like, yeah, this could happen to any of us. Shoot, they happened to Japanese, like back in the day with the internment camps. So it's not like it hasn't happened before. When it comes to LGBTQ, like their rights, I'm like, you know what? So I keep my eye on all these groups because I feel like we're all fighting the same fight, and I think it's important to be an ally to those other groups because I definitely appreciate the support and allyship from them. So that's why I kind of like just kind of like keep my finger on the pulse of all that's happening. And if somebody asks me to draw a comic or to participate in an anthology that goes towards that cause, usually I'm down to do it. You know what I mean? So. But no one's asked me to do like an Irish Gaelic Beowulf comic yet, which I wouldn't mind doing because that's just cool. I want to draw a Grendel.
I mean, you could always just do it.
Yeah, I've got like 1,001 other projects though. So. Man, so Oni, that's pretty cool, man. That's a feather in your cap. That was like a company I wanted to do comics for when I was younger so bad, because like when I got I was always into independent and alternative comics, But Oni was the first company that made me think that I could possibly do my own and get published by it. You know what I mean? And so back when they did the Jay and Silent Bob stuff and Jimma Food Zombie Kid and all those stuff, and Girl Scouts. So and then Queen and Country.
James Stocco's what's that book? Can't remember now.
And then Lion Forge. Lion Forge was like I was all about that Catalyst Prime stuff that was happening for a while there.
Yeah, I work for both of them now.
Yep.
Or it's basically all Oni now.
Is it?
Yeah, the Lion Forge stuff.
Are you allowed to talk about like what you do, like what the job function is? Not give away secrets, just like if someone say, "Hey, what do you do?" Do you have to stop it at "I work for Oni," or are you allowed to go into detail like this is what I do, this is what I do during a live play?
Oh yeah, there's no secrets about what I do. Maybe about what I work on, but it's just basically like quality checking, line art, putting books together, making them ready for print, sending them to printers. It's not a very glamorous job.
What's it like?
Now that I'm working from home.
Yeah, well, you're a pretty kick-ass artist. So what's it like having to switch hats from like, you know what I mean, like not doing the art to doing more of an administrative role, I guess you could say.
Well, I got my start at Image, so doing the behind the scenes stuff there gave me just a lot of knowledge about how the books actually get made. Beyond the art and the writing and lettering, beyond all that creative stuff.
Yeah.
Having to work with printers, having to figure out like, because sometimes artists don't know what DPI means and what resolution their pages should be on. They have to send their books to a printer. So being able to learn all that and then teach that to other artists, professional artists, who are just professional and way better than me. It was a good learning experience, and I know kind of a lot more about the whole process beyond coming up with the idea and executing it.
That is so valuable. I would love to learn that stuff. I know some of it just from self-publishing, but I mean, truly like us artists and creators can get stuck on just the production part of it, the content part of it, but then like, knowing where like getting ready stuff for digital and pre-press and all that, like I suck at margins and stuff like that with trims and all that. Like I have a problem with numbers, so like trying to get proportions or scale this up, scale that up is such a headache. You know what I mean? So
that's still a headache for me.
Huh?
That's still a headache for me.
Is it?
Yeah.
Or just making sure the trains run on time. It's just it's such a valuable set of skills and necessary part of the deal that that's oftentimes overlooked. You know what I mean? So do you enjoy doing it? Is it kind of like, did you find that you enjoyed doing it? Like you had a knack for it since you just kind of picked it up at Image?
I enjoy it as much as I enjoy any daytime job.
Okay.
I think I like the learning part of things more.
Yeah.
So if there's something that, if there's like a wall that I just run into and have to figure out what I'm supposed to do at a certain point, that's the fun stuff for me.
Cool.
Googling or talking to my department heads, talking to the creators, that kind of thing. I mean, again, like any other day job, there's a lot of tedious stuff too. So there are like big collections of books that we have to go back through sometimes. Re-QC. We have, because of coronavirus, we jumped through different printers that are coming back online and are now being kind of flooded with a lot of work, and it's having to navigate all of that is interesting. And being able to do it all from home is also a bit of an eye-opening experience. So
Yeah, sorry, I went in the interview mode there. Went back to my indie hunter days, and I'm interviewing you about your job.
no problem. That's what the creators do.
Yeah, I've always been like curious, like what's it like on the inside, what all that stuff happens. So
I mean, what's I'm honestly curious about in terms of comics now is how the big two do it.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
How the big two do it, like how Marvel and DC does it. Because the indies, like Marvel, like Image and Boom, IDW, and Oni, all have really small staffs.
Yeah.
And before I came on to Oni, there was only one person with production. So technically, my supervisor, she basically did every single book that came through Oni. And being on the job, like,
I told him
how
let me
did
slow
you do
down first, before we start talking about
it must be just a lot of hours, and I can't comprehend. Yeah.
Now, so what are your so since we're all artists, basically, what are your thoughts on the whole when this Black Lives Matter was just peaking, like within the last week, there's been all these different publishers, literary agents, things of that nature, businesses in the creative industries, as well as other industries, but especially in the creative industry, saying that we need to reach out and if any Black creators need this, need that, hit me up, do all this. Like there was like a rush of it, and I don't know what's going to come of it. I don't know if anything will come of it, but what do you think about that? As far as industry wise, like why does it take something like this to get people to look at other marginalized groups and creators and to want to work with them?
I think overall it's a good thing.
Yeah, agreed.
Right.
As long as they follow through.
Right.
Yeah.
I especially am for the agents who have put out calls to bring in Black creative talent. But yeah, I think there's a way you can look at it cynically.
Yeah.
Where especially if we're talking about larger companies, and if you subscribe to as many email lists as I do, just the last week there have been just tons and tons of emails in my junk folder of CEOs of companies talking about Black Lives Matter, or how they are dedicated to fighting for equality and being better companies, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So again, there's a way to look at it that's like very cynical, and they're kind of kowtowing to what's going on right now. But I think the net benefit is good. If, like you said, if they follow through.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I hope, and we'll find out, by the end of the year, by next year, what the results will be.
Exactly.
Specifically on law enforcement and on communities of color. If more and more cities adopt the 8 can't wait demands that are things that they can immediately put into place now, that they don't have to go through boards or go through voters or anything like that. They can just implement those rules and regulations right now. Then I think by the end of the year, by next year, we'll see immediate results there. And then in the long term, what people were talking about in terms of defunding the police and reallocating funds to schools, to public schools, to after school programs, to back to arts and sports programs for kids, especially in larger cities who are right now getting starved in their public schools. Even just that kind of mild demand, I think, could benefit. We could see the benefits of that several years down the line.
Indeed.
But
I don't know. I'm kind of. I mean, I understand the cynical take that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Vincent, but it's kind of like you kind of have to take what you can get when you can get it. Sometimes, you know.
Exactly.
Like I got pushed back earlier today.
Yeah.
I got pushed back earlier today because I posted about the 4-star Air Force general that was just appointed.
Yeah.
And you know, what I'm saying it's kind of a PR move on Trump's point, on Trump's part. And you know, the pushback was, well, don't you think you're undermining the appointment by saying that? It's like, well, I'm not saying he's not qualified. I'm saying he wouldn't have gotten the chance if Trump didn't need to have some positive press. You know.
So your issue is that at the root of it, it's still messed up and everything like that. Am I hearing that right?
Well, it you know, people try to say, well, you're saying he only got appointed because Trump needed the PR, and I'm not saying he's not qualified. He's eminently qualified. But the point is, like, how many people were qualified in the past, people of color, that didn't get the opportunity because whatever administration didn't need the press.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why did it take this to make it happen, basically?
No. So, but you know, the thing is, like, what I had to point out was, you know, is the guy qualified? Absolutely. Could Trump be using it as a PR ploy? Absolutely. Is it still a good thing that he was appointed? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was that's the same thing I'm pointing out in regards to publishers or industry people reaching out to creatives now. You know, it's like, why wasn't this happening already? You know, like why is it taking this to make people step forward and to extend their hand to help? Like, why isn't this already happening? You know, even at a 50% level.
I mean, sometimes, the good point is at least it started somehow. I guess regardless of how it did, at least it started. Does it matter how it started?
It does.
At least okay. Or
yeah, I think it does.
It did.
Yeah, I think it does because it shows that there's fundamentally there's an issue and not just, you know, in general, and that's something that we do need to be vigilant about, and because again it could be the next group, you know, it's only it's not too far fetched to think of it pivoting to another group, you know, at any point in time, especially with this guy in office. This guy pivots to anyone but himself or to his base when it comes to blaming people for certain things that are happening or that are probably problems of him and his administration's own making. So it does matter, in my opinion, Jamie, just because fundamentally there's an issue there, and we need to basically we need to reevaluate our foundation as a nation, so that way this doesn't happen again and again and again. So I think that's my argument.
It's the same kind of argument when people are like, quote unquote, diversity hires or you know.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. I get it.
And that's kind of how
essentially, so you're essentially, if you're doing that for the wrong reasons, you're tackling the symptoms, not the actual cause of the problem.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. Got it.
Maybe it's just a Band-Aid, you know, and when the wound is still there to fester. So,
But like I was saying, though, I agree with you. It's not the answer, but it's also still helpful.
yeah, it still needs to be done. Yeah, it's almost like triage. You do what you can right now, right? Until we can get to that, get to the root of the illness. But right now, we just kind of have to stop the wound from bleeding, And
It's kind of like, is it fucked up that it takes something like this to get people to do it? Sure.
Yeah.
I'm still glad it's being done, though.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of reminds me of this, not exactly a debate, but I've been getting irked a little bit with people sending around that article about the mayor of DC putting that Black Lives Matter giant like mural or statement on the street, and then renaming that street.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter Street. Yeah. That and this conversation kind of reminded me of that because my initial reaction was, "Oh, cool. That's kind of a cool symbolic gesture." But the what people's reactions to it, and when people were sharing it around, at least on my wall, was that it was almost like a victory. And I definitely didn't see it that way. I thought it was like cool. It was a cool symbolic thing. But that doesn't change the actual situation on the ground there.
Yeah. Blood still gets spilled on that street. What good is the street name, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, and I got a little bit of pushback too, where people were saying, "Well, it's something." I was like, "But is it though?"
Yeah.
Because the more I thought about it, the more I was like, my initial reaction of being, yes, that's a great symbolic gesture, to this is an empty gesture that is distracting from the things that we actually need to be fighting for, that could actually get real results.
I think for me, Vincent, it's going to be time will tell if it's an empty gesture or not.
Right.
If it stays up and the mayor of DC actually does concrete policy changes, then great. If it's just, I put up I did the lettering on the street. Didn't you see that? Then it's an empty gesture.
Hey Vincent, was it white people mostly, like people of Caucasian ancestry, or like that were cheering and that were kind of like clapping, like applauding the effort? Was it mostly them kind of like going like that's what I'm curious, is like who was just who was in favor of it?
It was that, and the tone of it was more like a big FU to Trump, because it was like right in front of
because you can see it out his window,
the White House or whatever, and the street was close to the White House, and so it's just like, big middle finger to him. And that was the other thing. I was just like, okay, but as bad as Trump is not the root of the problem. Even if we got rid of Trump in November, like racism still is going to exist.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of turned to this seemed like just a distraction.
Gotcha. I'm of two minds. I agree with you that it's not enough. It's just kind of like a placate, like oh hey, maybe even short of a photo op opportunity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I'm also one of the people that was posting it and sharing it and going and like, haha, F you, Trump, So it's like I took a little bit of flesh from that, you know what I mean? But I would also like it to remain and be permanent, because I want it to serve as a reminder for the next person and the next person and the next person that comes in to remember, like, and then eventually I want to see other things culturally happen in that area. Like, I'm okay with Columbus getting broken down, statues getting taken out, Confederacy states, because I want to see statues of I want to see things that are reflective of not only the populace of America, which is varied, but also maybe of the people that were here before it was colonized even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to see like a Filipino flag, over there by the White House. I want to see like, I mean, like look what happened to Hawaii. You know what I mean? Hawaii is also like a victim of colonization. You know what I mean? So I mean, but yeah, it's a U.S. state now. Puerto Rico should be a U.S. state. So there's so much that needs to happen, and there's so much color and no pun intended, and culture that needs to finally be mainstreamed. I guess that's a scary word, but
It
it just
needs
needs
to
to
be
be
talked
accepted
about.
and incorporated within within the national conversation. There we go. I don't want it mainstream. I don't want it appropriated and turned into a Reebok shoe or something. But
Yeah, that makes total sense.
I'm drinking a Monster. That's why I'm all fired up, man. I got caffeine in me. I only drink like 2 to 4 a year. Like usually when on a weekend on the convention when I'm needing the extra boost to. So it's so weird not having any conventions.
Oh yeah.
Amen.
But oh wait, Tiffany's talking. We've been just kind of droning on. Let me see what Tiffany's saying.
Okay, last comment. Let's see. Sorry, Tiffany. Keep my head down while I'm drawing. I got to remember to look up. Tiffany, people will probably disagree with me, but I also think it's a matter of brown and black folks having the opportunity to do art professionally in the first place. Many marginalized kids who want to create art are often discouraged by doing so, or just live a life that doesn't give them the time or resources to pursue professionally. They can muscle through it, of course, which is what most of us do, but compare their chances to someone who has a good support base or are financially stable. No.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So I'm just ending my career as a teacher, the middle school art teacher, but while that might be finishing, my goals of providing art for Title I areas of people, just trying to get the next generation involved in art. And back when I was younger, I was also discouraged of doing art. They're like, go do something else, do this, do that. You know what I mean? Like become a realtor or something like that. And I know in other cultures, like even in some of the Philippine cultures, be a doctor, be a lawyer kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because art wasn't valued. Art is not valued, even though art is in everything that we do. And now I think it's a little bit more accepted because even superhero movies are accepted now, right? Comics, geek culture in general. So now art is a little bit more accepted, but it is art will always be there for the people who don't have much. In fact, art might be the only thing, Tiffany, that is there for the people who don't have much, because it doesn't take much to just start creating something. Now, whether or not that's nurtured, that's where we need to come in and guide and help guide that and encourage that. So there definitely needs to be pioneers and mentors that are willing to give back to the people below them and help bring them up, in my opinion. So that's why I like to advocate for art and comics, especially comics, because it's not about superhero comics for me anymore. As much as I enjoy them, I've got them tattooed all over me, right? I got Wolverine claws, I got Black Panther, I got Ghost Rider. I named my son Logan Xavier. I mean, come on, So, but it's about telling people now that they can tell their story, and it doesn't have to involve a cape. Like I want to tell my grandmother's story, who used to, who's from the Philippines, who just she's like she passed away, but she's killer at fishing. My family used to dive for pearls and were fishermen. That's how they made their livelihood. So just being able to tell your story in general, I think, is important. And if people realize that there's a story out there for everyone and they are allowed to tell it, I think that you would encourage more art from a younger age. Man, I got a lot of soapboxes, don't I?
Well, that's kind of the purpose of the stream, is to open the dialogue and have the discussion.
Yeah. So just go ahead.
Sorry. Don't want to monopolize it.
I mean, I definitely think that we need to figure out how to open up more opportunities um, for children to have those choices.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not necessarily to say you have to do this thing or you have to do that thing, but to have the myriad of opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
whether that be going towards sports or science or to art, in all of the different types of art.
Yeah.
Um, I think starting young in every school, private and public, after school programs, I want all of those to come back, and not not just be at the whim of either a private corporation or one of the many nonprofits that are doing their best to get money for the dwindling programs that they are running at
Yeah.
this moment. Um, I think, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to bring it back to defund the police. Um,
Yeah. Well,
it
STEM
is,
and STEAM
Yeah.
are important. I mean, STEM and STEAM programs. STEAM, which is STEM incorporating art within the acronym.
yeah,
And and engineering and coding, because everything's going to automation anyway.
yeah,
So our kids are going to have to know they're not going to be labor jobs as much. They're going to have to know coding and things of that nature, and,
right,
and keeping the creative component to that, which also incorporates abstract thinking and thinking outside the box, so that way you can problem solve, and the willingness to have an imagination, so that you're able to innovate. Innovation has been subjugated because of the systems we have in place. If everything is all geared towards capitalism and trying to make money off the backs of your workforce and people less than you, if just so somebody can go buy another yacht or purchase an island, then what you're doing is essentially crippling innovation, and so all those problem solving ideas with green energy and things of that nature are just sitting there collecting dust. And so that's why defunding the police makes sense, because you can reallocate those funds to things that will actually prevent people from wanting to commit crime,
right.
because they don't
Right,
have
right.
nothing.
Yeah.
Like how I circled that back. I got people yelling at me on Facebook because I happened to I said spot the racist in the comment section. You know how you're never supposed to go in the comment section? Well, I just went in there and just kind of like lit a match. so now white people are angry with me again. So, but
It's fine.
yeah.
Jamie,
Happens.
you can relate, right?
I can super relate to that.
What?
Jamie's been very vocal lately.
Spill
Oh
it, Jamie.
yes. Uh, so I got so there's this local Facebook group in my area, because I live in a very affluent, almost all white community over here.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you get lots of like Karens saying, "Oh, let's not defund the police, because without them, how are we going to be safe?" The typical, "Well, am I actually hearing this? Am I actually reading this?"
Mm-hmm.
And then even if you give them like, okay, so I give them like the safest link I could think of. Okay, so this was about racism. Okay, so I gave them the Sesame Street City Hall video about Elmo talking about racism, and even that they called it shit. So, I mean, if they call Sesame Street shit, then there is no hope to talk to these guys, right?
Yeah.
So let's not just feed the trolls, I guess.
You can
Even
thank Mitt
there's
Romney
this-
for that. He was the one that
And
wanted
then-
to defund. Sorry, go ahead.
There's this. Okay, wait a minute. Let me
Wait, what's
just.
your name, Brian? Do
Sorry.
you live in Kahala? Jamie?
Sorry. What was the question?
No, where are you at?
You live in Kahala?
No, I live in Washington State.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So there's a disconnect. So I'm not in Hawaii.
Okay.
Okay.
I am in Washington State. And then, so I'm a member of the local Facebook community group here. And then, of course, there's a lot of heated discussions about what to do with the protests, blah, blah, blah. Okay, wait. Let me just
What's wrong with
message.
liberal?
Wait.
Well, it's probably like parts of Oregon that are very racist, but then there's the Portland area, which might have liberal races. So up north, like Northern California, Washington State, and Oregon, there's definitely parts that are not liberal or progressive. They're complete opposite.
Portland is the only liberal.
Yeah, right. So I imagine, Jamie, you're in one of those areas then?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, let me just. Okay.
That was awesome, team.
Yeah, that's looking
All right.
beautiful.
Oh, wait, sorry. Okay, thank you. So, Michael, I just messaged you something, so just read it out. So you guys are on mute. If you want to read it out, you can, because you guys are on mute. So I have the headset on.
Oh, you messed on the private chat. Okay. I'm sorry. I was
Yes,
trying
in
to
the
see
private
anything.
chat. Go for it.
Oh, no worries. Yeah.
And
We'll
then
just
read
mute
out
you. We'll
different.
just mute you if it gets loud.
No, I mean, you guys. I'm the only one who can hear you guys. So if you want to read it out to the rest, so they know why I'm not like.
Oh, Vince and JM, if you just look at the private chat in the StreamYard, you can see.
Oh, okay,
her.
so they can see. And then Michael, so Tiffany's saying something, so if you want to read that out
It's
too.
on the stream right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I got it.
Sorry, that's why. Right?
So Tiffany and Jamie are thinking of doing a charity stream at the end of the month, thinking of donating their earnings to Girls Who Code.
Oh,
yes.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So this one, the one I'm doing that right now is I'm kind of hoping to auction this off somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know. So it's the Black Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
You have a Twitter? James?
Yes.
You have a Twitter?
I do not have a Twitter, but I am very active on Instagram.
Okay. It'll work on Instagram too.
All right.
A lot of comic artists have been posting sketches and drawings or just original pages for auction, just on their Twitter or Instagram, and then using the comments for bids.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna try doing that. See if it works for me.
Yeah. You can just hashtag all the things. This is going to take not very long. This Black Panther is taking much longer than I thought.
All the blacks.
Yeah.
So defunding the police, like defunding the militarization of the police. Let's start with that even, I mean, why do they need tanks?
Well, in the city of LA, their police force is budgeted in the billions. So I'm not sure how that got justified. I mean, I think that's 1992, but we're a long way from that. And also, we were talking about on Sunday the kind of mentality of police training, warrior training, the idea that there's actually videos of seminars for police officers where they're taught to be predators, which automatically means everybody that you look at is prey, and that's somebody that you're serving and protecting, not a human being.
Yeah. There needs to be empathy, and there needs to be specialists that can handle mentally ill people that are having an episode. And you should be sending in the gasoline to throw on top of a fire. There needs to be someone that can put the fire out, or have it ease this thing. So maybe law enforcement or counselors with maybe some arming, a little bit of defense.
De-escalation.
Yeah, I can't even. My phrasing is going away from me now, but like we need to just reevaluate. We need to we can't just like that's the problem. Is that like America wants to hold on to this pipe dream or this type of like this image, this this visage that it's always been apple pie or something. And if we start trying to serve up any other type of pie, or try and go back and make sure the dough is cooked all the way, you know what I mean? And then then it's gonna crumble. It's like so. Oh man, it's so frustrating because it's so frustrating to me. Well, I sound like an angry black guy, probably. You know what I mean? Quite often, it's just frustrating because I feel like I see what it could be. I feel like I see what we could actually have and achieve, and it's frustrating to see that because of the wealth inequality and people wanting to hold on to that crazy generational wealth, and want to keep like a workforce indentured, that we're not going to really have the quality of life that we all could really have. It's right there and it's locked in a case and we're not allowed to touch it. So that's why it's so frustrating to me.
The light is bright.
Tiffany went to college for social work. So I kind of wish he was in the stream with us, Tiffany.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, Tiff, why don't you go into the stream just to, I mean, if you don't want to show us what you're drawing, just chat with us,
Well, I've completed my homework.
That's part of the defunding we were talking about, right? Social work is a huge component of something that needs to be better funded or just funded in general.
Yeah.
And that job needs to be taken away from police. It should never have been their job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rage Against the Machine, guys.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of that again lately, so.
You seen the tweets?
Yes, that was hilarious.
I think that's why it's in everybody's memory right now. That comes up every couple of years. Somebody will say some stupid shit about that, and people have to point out that what do you think Rage Against the Machine meant?
Right.
Well, what's going on?
Well, the tweet that I saw was specifically to Tom Morello. It was just some right-wing former fan who was saying that he was gonna not listen to them anymore because of their political stances.
It's kind of one of the things like just stick to making the music,
Yeah, but their music was political.
Yeah, that's like asking Public Enemy not to fight the power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just funny.
It's just like those people that talk about there's comic books, being artists, and like comics have no place on doing social commentary or politics.
Oh yeah,
you never fucking read a comic, have you?
Yeah, like I just got done trolling one of those guys earlier, the comic gators. Yeah, just like the idiocy, Yeah, the idiocy. It's like, oh man,
You're not reading the same comic I'm reading.
Maybe they're reading Archie. Yuck.
Even Archie's more progressive. Archie's nothing but politics and social issues now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they even got like queer characters in Archie now. So I mean,
an interracial marriage.
So
yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Archie, Betty, and Veronica were all polymorph. So. But
that it actually makes a lot more sense than what they're doing now.
Right, but yeah. So
anyway, yeah.
So Black Lives Matter. Concerning that, I'm waiting to see what happens next. Trying to. I always feel like it's going to get worse before it gets better, but I do like that we're having the conversation. Out in the street. I like that it's monopolizing a lot of the conversation right now because I feel like it's long overdue.
Yep.
And then I feel like this could be if we crack this code and finally come to a solution on this, then this will be the model that we can apply to a lot of other issues in marginalized groups going forward. Then we'll know how to treat the border issue. Then we'll know how to treat, the killing of trans and LGBTQ and et cetera, and the poor. There's no reason why anyone should be homeless. You know what I mean? That makes no sense. When you think about what goes into the military budget and all these other type of where all this money's going and the income's going, it just makes no sense. Like a lot of this doesn't make any sense. Aliens were to come down, they probably look like, what the hell are you guys doing? Is how I feel, So
Yeah.
I feel like if
It
we can
should be
crack this code,
everybody.
yeah,
Everybody should have a plate first before you get seconds.
yeah.
You know?
So
So anyway.
Yeah, one of the stats I read was that what's his name? Joe Bezos, the
Mhm.
CEO of Amazon, has
Yeah.
so much money that he could literally buy every homeless person a house to live in and still have billions of dollars left over.
Yes.
And so that brings us into one of the other issues of why there has to be something like Black Lives Matter, the income disparity, the fact that people at the top earners are not paying their share, and then they've convinced Trump's base, who was dirt poor, who are just as not well off as the marginalized groups are, that live in these red states, and they convince them to be angry at Black people and progressives, and say and defend the rich. It's like they had the village defend the castle instead of the castle defending the village, the king defending his subjects. It's the other way around. So basically, you have Trump's base arguing for rich people to keep their money and not pay taxes because it's their money. It's like, no, it's your money. You've been working, you and your generations have been working your ass off to toil the land, and they've just been taking the chunk of it, of your sweat equity. So I mean, that's why there also has to be a reevaluation of that as well at the top. But that's gonna be another tough hill to climb. So Black Lives Matters is so much more than just quit beating up and killing Black people. It's there's so much more involved, and it affects so much more. I think it's just scratching the surface of if we can crack this code, we're gonna have a basis for fixing a lot of things, in my opinion, because this is a hard code to crack. You're talking about lots of centuries of programming.
Yeah, I was thinking that I'm not a big fan of the idea that things have to get worse in order to get better.
Yeah.
But the fact that these incidents are happening like one after the other, versus like, the kind of time distance between Rodney King and the next one, I feel like because it's happening one after the other and everything's kind of speeding up, of every time one happens, we're still learning the lessons from the last one, like in terms of organizing, in terms of what to demand, what tactics to take when you're protesting, what to do when you're protesting. The on the other hand, the legal side of things and legislation and talking to your representatives and having those be the two kind of prongs of the movement. I feel like because of things are happening so quick now, people are learning as they go instead of sitting back after the momentum dies down and then kind of almost forgetting when the next one happens. So, yeah, again, things don't have to get worse in order to get better, but I do feel like because these incidents are happening so much now, we are learning to make the fight correctly. as we go, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't want them to get worse before they get better. I just
Right.
feel like because of the systems that are in place to keep keep the money flowing to the top, it's going to be like a fist squeezing a wet bar of soap, you know. And so like I feel like there's just going to be pushback, because they want to keep their place at the top. You know what's funny is that they're not even going to lose their space at the top. That's what's crazy about this, is that the wealthy are going to stay wealthy. They're not going to lose it by people on the bottom two rungs, lower and middle class, finally getting some relief and just having the more of an equal playing field. Bezos, as you stated, is still going to be freaking insanely rich. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
Yeah,
again,
it's white privilege that allows him to go on Twitter and just like tell all of his former customers to go fuck off because they don't like his stance on Black Lives Matter.
yeah.
Like,
What did
I
Bezos
like
come out? I must have missed that. What did he say?
Oh, it was I think he just tweeted his support for the protests and for Black Lives Matter. I don't know if he actually donated any money, but he just tweeted, and then a bunch of customers were like, "Oh, we're not going to buy from Amazon anymore because you support Black Lives Matter," and he would, tweet at each one of them like, "Okay, like I don't need you," and he literally doesn't.
Oh, the other side. Okay, we're caught up.
I harangued Tiffany into joining us.
Oh, nice.
I couldn't resist you guys.
Oh,
Tiffany, you want to introduce yourself?
What do I say? Oh, I'm Tiffany. Actually, I'm in South Korea right now with my husband. So not Hawaii right now, but I did come from Hawaii.
okay.
It's Thursday.
Actually, it is Thursday at 11:30, so I'm a day ahead of everyone probably.
Yeah. Does it get better for us tomorrow? Or
I was
not?
going to ask that, Michael.
I can tell you honestly, I mean, we're actually doing pretty good with the virus, so don't know how long you guys take, but it does get better, I guess.
We're actually going to be getting worse here with that particular problem, but that's a different topic.
That's crazy. Hi, Tiff. Hi, Jamie.
Yay, you are here.
All right, so we'll give you an opportunity to play catch up, Tiffany. Is there something in particular you'd like to talk about the whole situation going on?
I missed a little bit when I was hopping on, so I probably.
It's okay if we rehash stuff. So.
We only have
yeah. I did agree with the reforming how they train police. There was actually a program in Hawaii where they were trying to pair police with social workers so that they wouldn't be going in by themselves. They would have a trained mental health professional there to de-escalate, to inform them, like, okay, this person, he's not in his right mind, and this is how you go about it. So I'd like to see more social workers on the scene, on the emergency calls, paired with police, maybe even police having that degree in human services and social work. So yeah, that was my piece on that.
Well, I kind of disagree with that one. Like I said, I think the job just needs to be taken away from police entirely. I mean,
I'm okay with that too. Get a whole new crop in there.
I think
they send in a hostage negotiator. Why can't they send in some other expert for the situations? You know what I mean? So yeah.
I think they watch too much Hollywood movies.
Yeah. There's too many John Wayne. John Wayne's dated. No one. It's probably now Bruce Willis. There's too many John McClanes. So diehard fans.
I'll tell you one thing that I have seen coming out, which I haven't really seen too much in the past, is like other cops or former cops finally saying, "Yeah, this is not made up."
Yeah.
So, that gives me a little bit of hope.
this is kind of a hint. But does anybody remember that the killer cop in LA? He like went on a big rampage in like across the city.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big chase for him. He was a black cop.
Yeah, and then they lit him on fire.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
pulled up in a house, and they just like burned the house down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you know his name?
I forgot the name.
Yeah, I'm forgetting his name now. But the whole thing was that he was trying to out racist cops on the force. Like he had a bunch of like documents, and he had like diaries about what they were talking about in the locker rooms. And like just I don't want to say he went crazy, but he kind of went crazy because of the racism in his own force.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I was going with that, but it's.
But yeah,
okay. I don't know if he went crazy or not, but that does bring up a systemic problem, though, because if you have cops that try to fix the system from within, they just get shut down or they get pushed out.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know if that's where you were going, but that is a point I can bring up based on that.
Like that police chief recently. It's going around like on Facebook.
Yeah, the one saying demanding respect. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, not that guy. It's the opposite. There was one, I believe he was black, was trying to clean up the department, all that, and the cops voted him out.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, if you go against the cops, then they all kind of like, that. What is that called? The thin blue line or whatever? I don't know.
Feels like a cult.
Well, that's the whole brotherhood aspect. Like, that's also a military thing, right? The military does that kind of training. It's like you have to rely on the people in the foxhole next to you. You have to rely on your brothers and sisters in uniform. And the cops do that same kind of thing in training. So it's like my brother or sister, right or wrong,
No.
Yeah, I mean the problem with that mentality when you're in the streets of your own communities.
Well, there's lots of problems with that mentality, but
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, even that protester in Buffalo, the one who got pushed over and then he got concussed because when he fell over.
Yeah.
On the video, there was actually one cop who was going forward to help him up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the one that was trying to help him up is also one of the ones that helped push him down.
Yeah. So,
but I think he realized, oh shit, I messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then somebody when he went to go help, he was pushed away and pushed, keep moving forward.
Yes.
And because of the way they're trained, he did that. He went forward.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So how do you guys feel about 50 other police officers who resigned?
Now, is this them just resigning from
it's kind of a misnomer.
It is. Yeah. You want to clarify, Michael?
Yeah, because they didn't quit the force. They quit from the response, that particular response force.
Okay.
It's a volunteer.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So they're still officers. They're just not the ones that will respond to protests now or riots.
Right.
I see.
It was a trick.
I mean,
that's a very important.
How do I feel about it? I think I'd like to see him just quit the entire force. It's like if that's your line in the sand, then fine, go away.
So let's go ahead.
The guy I can't get it out of my head, but that guy was trying to help them.
Yeah, he was bringing back a helmet, right?
Yeah.
You can see him carrying the helmet in the video.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what he was doing? I didn't know what he was doing, but I know it wasn't violent.
No. He was bringing them a helmet. He had a helmet in his hands.
Wow.
Yeah, because the line had dropped a helmet when they were going the other direction. And when they were coming back, he was trying to get them their helmet back.
It is a little hard to see, but if you watch the video, it's in the far hand.
Okay.
Like he's got his cell phone in his right hand, closest to the camera, and he's carrying a helmet in his left hand.
Mm.
But then you got the president coming out, tweeting about the conspiracy theories thrown out by OANN.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering when that would come up.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Our
president.
And the mayor and the chief of police saying that he's a known agitator. It's like, well,
yeah, right. And then you look into his background, and
Ben and Jerry are agitators in that way,
Yeah.
But
Right.
Ben and Jerry's.
I mean, that's why you declare "quote unquote" Antifa as a terrorist organization, right?
Yeah.
An organization that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
He definitely didn't declare any of those
The Proud
white
Boys.
supremacist
Yeah,
groups.
the Proud Boys or
Yeah, it would be like declaring the alt-right as a terrorist organization. But you knew that.
Yeah, that is one of the only few upsides to this pandemic, and I hate to say that because I don't mean that as far as like there's anything good about the pandemic, but the fact that the focus, like that, we're not that like now it's like in pure focus about what's going on and everything like that, so people aren't like zombied out right now.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of are, but I mean,
this kind of touches on something Vince and I talked about on the first one, where it's not that this stuff's necessarily happening more. It's like it's just in our face more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The noise that normally blurs us out is kind of like, it's not there right now. Wave 2, they're saying wave 2 is about to hit for this virus because of,
Because of the protests.
Oh no! Prior to the protests, because all those states were opening up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, protests.
We are seeing spikes from Memorial Day weekend.
Exactly, and so that's going to once again put people back in their homes, and then you'll probably have these little right-wing militias go back out there with their, AR-15s and whatnot, yelling.
They're already out there in Michigan.
So are they? I thought the black people scared them away. Sorry.
I mean, because of all the protests with the state buildings in the Capitol.
Why wasn't there a police response to those guys raiding Michigan and threatening governors and all that, like hanging in effigy, as well as like, storming the Capitol and all that? Why wasn't there why wasn't there an equal response to that? Why were their First Amendment rights respected? Even though they're totally having all these crazy weapons and everything like that. A kid has a bottle of water and you freaking mace them or whatever. Out here in Columbus, there's people like my coworkers that are sitting down, in like a silent protest, almost like a parade, right? Or some people in a yoga position sitting on the curb, peacefully protesting, and then the cops are coming around just spraying them. Yeah. And these are teachers we're talking about. These aren't like, like vandals or anything like that of that nature. So,
and there's something else we touched on last time too. That might come back to bite him in the butt, because finally some people that didn't believe it was a problem are seeing all these pictures coming up on their screen now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame that it took that, but that might be one good thing to come out of this.
Yeah.
Now it's hard to say that, hey, you guys aren't just making this up, because now it's old white people or your Karens and stuff that are getting hosed down and dragged away and cuffed, and they're not doing anything but standing there and chanting or more,
Yeah, like you saw that video of the woman, this woman's neighbor who came across the garage and was just like threatening to kill her because she deemed to go to Black Lives Matter protest. To go. She just went, and then her neighbor came over after and was like, "I'm going to kill you."
Man,
Their
That's kind of a
husband,
scary situation. I'm glad I wouldn't be armed. I mean, what if I was armed? So I was like, "Oh, you're gonna kill me? Like, okay, well, then let's just do it now." You know, I mean, like, I'm not gonna let you go walk back and get your gun. I mean, I
her
mean, that's
in
scary.
the video, her husband had to drag her away.
Oh, she was about to whip some ass. Okay, nice.
So I mean, like I said, that might be one of the
Yeah,
silver linings of this whole thing is people are it's very much harder for a lot of people to deny that
mhm,
police use
Yeah.
of excessive force is made up now.
indeed. When you got the football head guy saying we were wrong, you know,
That yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
Goodell.
yeah. Now all you need is Pepsi to turn that into a commercial.
Oh God.
You saw that L'Oreal also rehired the black trans model
Oh,
that they had
okay.
fired like 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
L'Oreal. I can't get that Thorial out of my
If
head
you
whenever
make that
someone says
commercial, I
L'Oreal.
don't want to see any Jenners.
Huh?
I don't want to see any Jenners trying to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there was
You saw that meme?
a tweet from Kendall Jenner.
Well, that was completely photoshopped. You saw that though, right?
Oh yeah, that's why I was like,
Yeah.
really?
You know what
They didn't
Facebook
hide that?
did? They told me that there's false. There's my post was based off of some somewhat false information. I was like, yeah, I know it's a meme, it's a joke.
Right.
I got flagged for that.
Man.
jeez.
Yeah, and Facebook's completely supporting the Republican,
The
like
convention.
yeah. So, what the hell, Zuckerberg?
Well,
Don't ever think Zuckerberg's on your side. He's
Oh no, I don't even think he's a real human being. I don't think he's a real live boy.
Jamie was telling me the other day that if you use Facebook's charity feature, they
Mhm.
actually take a big cut of what
Yeah.
you get. So,
Yep.
way to
Yeah, you
profit
can
off
Google
charity.
it.
Don't do
You can
that.
Google it. Yeah. So if because we were thinking about how to donate the money we would, theoretically make from the charity stream, and we were, they said, oh, maybe Facebook, and I said, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just do PayPal and
Yeah.
donate it straight from PayPal.
You could do
And,
what we did when we did our free comic book day sketching for tips thing. You can put a donate button in your description, and people can just click on that.
Where would the money go?
No, you create from PayPal. You use
Oh,
PayPal
okay,
to create the link.
gotcha.
Yeah, you can
Oh,
create
there we
a
go.
button.
There we go, Tiff.
Yeah, I need to
Yeah.
do that. So for an online convention, I have to create a PayPal button. That just reminded me. So
The other thing I've seen other artists do for the auctions is to just have people donate directly to the organizations and then screenshot their receipts.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. Okay, maybe I'm just being cynical, but I have heard people using the same donation receipt to get free stuff from other artists.
That was
You
my
get
thing
it?
about it. I was like, how do I verify that your screenshot is your screenshot?
mhm.
Yeah. But I figured if they're going to go through all the trouble of photoshopping their receipt, they
Right.
might as well just pay for the stuff, right? I mean, I guess.
Or take a selfie with it, and then if you really want to Photoshop or print one out and then hold it up, I guess you've I don't know.
That might deter like the actual donators, though.
Yeah.
There might be too much.
So, yeah, do we just like trust people would actually just donate it? I guess. Dun, dun,
For
dun.
somebody like me, I think I would probably just trust them. To be
Yeah,
honest.
okay.
Because I'm nobody. Like, getting free art from me is just like getting free art from your friend.
Oh, that's true. What do you think, Tiff? Should we just like have them donate directly?
Yeah, I mean, most of the audience that we're showing it to is, I guess they're if Mog and whatnot trust them, then why it's to say we can't trust them. Plus, it's like,
Yes,
come on,
yeah.
you're gonna really take advantage
I mean,
of
if
us.
you're
Like,
There are some that will, believe it or not, but I mean, at the same time, it's how much more work is it to try and regulate that and monitor that versus just going, just and then looking at focusing on the good that comes out of your effort.
Yeah.
So you're
yeah.
asking physical
Okay.
artwork to people?
Gotcha.
Is that what's happening
that
for
was
the
great,
charity?
Jamie.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh, yay!
Just taking a look
Yeah.
around.
Is there a lasso? Does she have a lasso? I'm just curious. I don't know if she has one too.
No,
No?
well, technically, my sketch, she had a lasso, but I couldn't
Uh-huh.
get the hand right, so I just
Yeah.
kind of vetoed it. I kind
Okay.
of feel guilty because I wanted to talk about. So when I was doing conventions, I have had like maybe 3 black girls, like young girls, and
Mhm.
some maybe 20-year-olds saying, "Do you have any black mermaids?" I've had that question like 3 times, and I'm like, I kind of feel guilty now. Oh my gosh, all my mermaids are white, and I gotta put more diversity into my stuff too.
Damn.
Look at that.
Nice.
Yeah. I wanted to use characters from my cultural backgrounds when I was in 5th grade because I didn't see a lot of them. So I was using black characters, Filipino characters, Native American characters, and just make all the characters had some type of cultural ancestry. You know what I mean? So because there was, and I picked up on that just from wanting to do it myself. Before this is 5th grade, so I wasn't political or aware of the fact that there was too many white characters or anything of that nature. It was just something about wanting to see myself represented in these characters because I think I wanted to be superhero back then. So that's kind of how I started creating stuff early on.
I'll admit I didn't. It wasn't until college that I actually became aware of the sheer amount of white people that I was watching.
Mhm.
It literally took a professor to tell me that, to point that out. So I feel like yeah, it's just you don't think about it
Yeah, you
until
don't.
somebody says it.
Yeah, especially if you're indoctrinated to not think about it because that's all you know, because that's all you have. We talked about this on another live casting when it came to Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, and then we were talking about the fact that like for the longest time there wasn't a lot of minority characters. There was mostly just predominantly white. So everyone grows up wanting to be Superman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, until you get your Luke Cages and your Black Panthers and all that, though. But on TV back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s and 60s, you weren't going to see Black Panther on TV. You weren't going to see Luke Cage on TV. You were still going to see Iron Man, Fantastic Four, Captain America, Thor, Submariner. So you were still going to see you weren't going to see yourself reflected other than Super Friends with those pretty bad,
Yeah.
versions.
Apache Chief.
Even though I kind of liked Apache Chief because I always liked the Indians, Native Americans when I was a kid. I used to cry when they got killed in the cowboy movies. You know what I mean? So because I had, but so yeah.
Black Lightning or
Vulcan.
Vulcan.
Yeah. So, and then the what was it? What the hell was the guy's name? The Asian guy.
El Dorado, right?
Him too,
One
but
was
there's
called
also like a Asian character they too also.
Samurai. He was called Samurai.
Was he called Samurai? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Diversity.
Because of course he was.
Yes. Even though his power was wind, I think.
I will say that's what I give Mortal Kombat props for. I think the only white person in that entire cast was Johnny Cage and
Sonya
his
Blade.
girlfriend. Yeah.
Sonya Blade, Sonya something.
And then there was Stryker. Me and my son are big Mortal Kombat nuts, so. But I also love Street Fighter too because I used to play that in 7-Eleven and pizza things. I don't even know how to draw a dragon, so I've got a whole bunch of dragon books I need to study. I just wanted to get back to rendering and penciling. So I'm just making this up as I go.
Honestly, who actually knows how to draw a dragon?
Well, look at this. Each one of
Isn't
these
that
scales
like
are shaded the same way, completely ignoring the fact that there's probably a light that they would actually look differently if depending on how the light is hitting. But no, each scale is shaded the same way. So I'm calling on my own BS. But that just goes back to what we were talking about, that these superficial details that I'm kind of faking right now, like without the fundamentals, being done correctly or being done right or reevaluated, then this will always be a flawed piece. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the way the police system is, and the judicial system and everything of that nature. It needs to be like reevaluated from the ground up. And its foundation needs to be reset.
that was very deep. That was like boom.
That's that circular logic working. It's because I'm left-handed.
You're left-handed?
Yeah, wait, Vince, you're left-handed too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking at that upside down. Yep, I'm left-handed. So, Vince, are you from Hawaii then?
Originally from Hawaii, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was born there, but I was raised in the Bay Area.
Gotcha. Now, in Hawaii, it's pretty mixed, isn't it? Like, there's people who have Korean ancestry, obviously Native, ancestry, and then there's, it's isn't it kind of like mixed up there too?
It's the only state in the union that's minority white.
What's that?
It's the only state in the union that's minority white.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. What other cultures are there?
Japanese, Korean, Portuguese, Filipino.
Yeah.
Lots of Polynesians from around the world, like Asian Samoans.
Maori, Fijian, Tongan, Romanian.
Yeah. I never actually had a white or black friend until college.
Oh, wow.
Everybody was Asian.
Yeah.
Or Hawaiian. Or mixed.
I'm just going to take a second to throw out for the few people watching. If you want to bring up a topic, we'll talk about it. So
yeah,
throw it in the comments.
AMA, ask me anything.
Nothing off limits.
Who's watching? Can you ask that?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you that.
Oh, sorry.
And sometimes what I'll do is have my cell phone running Facebook or YouTube, so I can read the comments. I turn the volume down, so that way I can or view it from there.
Well, we can see the comments in the stream.
Oh yeah, you're right. But
it doesn't show me who's watching though.
No, you're right. So now, unless you're on a Facebook Live, and you click on that. So, Dang, I like coming on and doing these kinds of things because then I get work done. I actually get drawing done. So I get homework done, I get drawing done. So then it's like, oh wow, an hour or two passes by and I've actually accomplished something. And I haven't been watching CNN or arguing with racists on Facebook.
Correct. Same. Sorry, what's your name again? I kind of forgot. Yeah.
J.M. Hunter, or just call me Hunter.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. All right.
Hey, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Just curious what the sentiment is in Korea right now, like towards all the protests that are happening in America.
Oh,
is there any news about it over there?
It's kind of difficult to give a broad blanket statement, because it is mixed, very mixed. You have a lot of foreigners, though, who are absolutely in support. And of course, there was a protest that was organized by Koreans in support of Black Lives Matter. And actually, there was a video where a Korean lady totally just explained it, that, the Korean, um, the Black problem is the Korean problem, because they do know what it's like to be colonized and oppressed. And there's just a lot of mirror similarities and problems. So, but with that said, there are a lot of racist Koreans here. In the 1970s, outside the U.S. base, there was straight up no blacks allowed. Don't come into our businesses, even though these were soldiers just as much as anyone else. So, yeah, it's a deeply rooted.
Is it younger
dislike
people?
for colored people.
Is that being aged out, like by the younger people?
Absolutely, especially because you see K-pop. It's so obvious they take from Black culture. They glorify it and they benefit from it. So I think in that sense, especially with K-pop idols actively donating tons of money to Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, BTS donated $1 million.
Yeah, several of them. So they're getting their fans on it. The fans are on board.
It's
so
fun to
that's
watch.
a lot of young people.
Yeah,
It makes me want to check out K-pop. My daughter's into it, but I also was watching Space Force, and they're dancing in the car. Like, that's actually a pretty good show, Space Force on Netflix. So just to watch them kind of like turn the Trump idea on its head.
Yeah, I was so surprised. There's a lot of big name comedians in that show.
Well, because it's by the Parks and Rec and Office creators.
Yeah, and so
I love that
Asian kid.
I love that they possibly have trademarked the name Space Force before the U.S. government.
Man, they just straight out ripped that symbol from Star Trek, though. So actually, it goes even further back.
It has been fun to watch the K-pop folks just ripping into the races.
Yeah, I saw that they did a campaign on Instagram, where you saw the White Lives Matter kind of hashtag going around.
Yeah.
And what they did was they tried to flood it with nonsense.
Yeah.
They basically hijacked the hashtag so you wouldn't see that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, from money to online social movements, those guys, they know what they're doing.
Also kind of makes sense because a lot of, especially recent K-pop stars, are from America or Canada.
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is that a lot of black people love anime and I've always loved martial arts movies. Ever since the 70s, black people have also been influenced by Asian cinema, and then go on to be influenced by anime, towards it's even there's like a nice merger of graffiti style as well as anime elements in their artwork now. And so now there's just full on I kind of look like it's like a black manga, you know what I mean? And so there's a lot of crossover that just comes out with some dynamic imagery and work, and I really dig it. So
there's a black-owned anime studio in Japan.
Yeah. That's been in the news lately. And then there's Noir Caesar, that or the comic book company that Nick Drip Rivalry was working with.
Oh yeah.
So I think Corey McKell, I think I might be butchering his name. So, and then LaShawn Thomas had the Cannon Busters, and he was working on Avatar, Legend of Korra, as well as the Thundercats, and was running an animation studio over there in South Korea. So,
Yeah.
you know,
He's the guy that got me into K-pop.
yeah. I remember talking to him at Wizard World LA when I was in my 20s, before I moved away from Cali. And he was just drawing on typing paper, on regular printer paper with a blue color pencil. And he was serious about his stuff back then, just dropping knowledge. I wish I wasn't so drunk. I used to drink back then that I could have remembered most of what he said. Because Wizard World used to sell alcohol. That was a bad idea.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of smaller shows to still do that.
Yeah, but I don't drink anymore, so especially with
shows in Honolulu, dude.
Yeah. With everything going on right now, I got to keep my focus. I got to be sharp. You know. There's a protest tomorrow here locally, and I'm hoping it's my daughter and wife want to go to it really bad. And I'm just like, and we live in a very conservative area, you know, outside of Columbus, and this is mostly rural, you know, like they're one short of a Confederate flag type of people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's going to be that's kind of nerve wracking. I'm probably going to go just because I want to make sure I'm not going to be able to relax. I'm going to just be spying everybody, you know, and kind of like eyeballing people, just looking for trouble.
I mean, if you go out to a protest, you shouldn't be relaxed.
What's that?
I mean, if you're going out to a protest, you shouldn't be relaxed.
Yeah.
You should be.
You absolutely have to be aware.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
And careful. Who knows when you might get maced or a rioter might come in and try to disrupt things.
Oh, yeah, there was one lady that showed up, two ladies that showed up to anti-protest, and one of them had the nerve to go around saying she had COVID and was touching everybody. You know, so I was like, if you would touch my daughter, I don't know what I would do, because I'm not a person that likes to do stuff like that or retaliate.
You know, trolling or not, that's the thing. You know, it's like you have to take them at their word.
Yeah.
Right. That's like those I forget what they're called now. They're like those like militiamen who wear aloha shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the fact that they're wearing aloha shirts. That's but like that's one of their tactics, is that they don't believe that coronavirus exists, so they just go around and like cough on people of color to try and provoke them.
That's why now there's starting to be black people that are arming up, that are starting to create their own gun clubs and everything, because they're just sick of it. They're like, you know, had enough.
Yeah.
So in the ideal world, we could handle all this at the voting booth, you know, but even that's messed up. You look at what happened to Georgia, you know, that guy Kemp that's in office, he's the one that screwed over Stacey Abrams, you know, as well, being in two positions at once and retained the governorship. But you know, so Georgia has problems with the ballot box. Trying to rely on the regular systems of governing that are supposed to be put in place to allow us to change things, you know, when we're not satisfied with what's going on, are jeopardized.
So can I ask? I already talked to Vincent about this, but what are the protests like in your particular areas, in Ohio or Washington? Hello?
Oh, Jamie, she's not on anymore, is she? I was gonna let her go. Maybe she clicked the wrong button when she went to hit unmute.
It might be her kids too.
She probably dropped out because of her kids, but
okay then.
It's fine. You may be back.
Okay. Columbus is very, potent when it comes to protesting. It's on the news. It's one of the places that's covered on the news, and police have, of course, screwed up their reaction to protesting and just macing and hitting people. So finally, they lifted the curfew. Finally, the governor lifted the curfew as far as because they were still blocking people in. It's almost like, oh, hey, we're going to establish a curfew a few minutes before, and we expect you to be gone, but then we're going to block you in and trap you so we can arrest you. So it was just really, really shady how they were handling things. And it would have been just peaceful protesting and then people doing their thing, almost like a parade and a march, and then it would have been done. It would have been gone. But no, you had to go in and send in these militant, law enforcement people, and they started billy clubbing and spray and mace people. They even took out our council people, and all that. Though I don't know if you saw that in the news, but they even maced and pepper sprayed our councilwoman and people that are in our legislature, that were trying to make sure it was peaceful. So the response from local law enforcement, has been atrocious, and only further fueling the drama that you see on TV, and then it gives Trump and other people a chance to sit there and blame the people. We got dead air.
I was trying to think of. Sorry, go ahead, Vincent.
Oh, our police chief just announced her resignation today. So that was an interesting side note to all the protests happening around here.
Actually,
there is one protest that I don't know if it's the same one. It could be, but actually, foreigners who work or have a visa to work here are actually barred from protesting, so they could get deported for protesting. So there was one protest that was going around that was really fishy because the guy who was trying to organize it is known to scam people. Mm-hmm. He runs away with the money. So yeah.
What money? He was charging people to protest?
He was asking for donations and saying that it would be going towards resources like t-shirts or stuff like that, I guess. But it's going to his personal account. So, red flag right there.
I don't know how people can do that. I know how they can do it, but it's just like the fact that it's just like I remember when Houston had the floods, and so what me and my daughter did was I offered to just do drawing cartoons for tips, and then I donated it to a GoFundMe that was named Wyatt, one of the football players from Houston, was running, and it was just scary to even have other people's money. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, oh no, this is scary to even have it. And then to make sure that I was showing accountability and transparency of where it was going and everything, just to ask. And it was just like weird feeling and scary feeling. And then there's this anxiety to it, but then for people to be perfectly fine with ripping other people off, they got balls. That's all I can say.
I used to intern for Planned Parenthood. Okay. People would get aggressive, man.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the money going? How much are you doing towards abortion? And sometimes straight up, you're paying to kill babies, and we would have to explain, like, it was. People get really crazy when it comes to that money.
All the women's services that you do and the health, things that does.
And we really try to stress, men. A lot of men too are welcome to come in for STD testing and HIV testing, and it's a lot of subsidizing because a lot of clients are people who just don't have insurance or just can't afford services on a normal basis. So it is just going towards helping those people get basic health care.
Yeah, if they have a problem with it, then maybe they need to go ahead and support universal health care next time, or something. I mean, obviously the needs are not being met of everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I can respect people if they don't agree with abortion, but
Yeah.
to make out Planned Parenthood like that's all they do is incorrect.
Whether you agree with it or not, it's at the end of the day, it's not unless it's directly affecting you. I mean, well, it's not your choice. It's the person who that's a choice that they have to make, and that's not an easy choice. And that's just something that I don't wish on anyone having to confront that decision making process. And it's not my place to say what that person can do with their body.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a question. Let's project a little bit forward. Black Lives Matter is happening right now. Black Panther 2 comes out. Do even more people go and see it? Because they've gotten involved in the conversation and have looked into things, or maybe they've been educated that they weren't formally educated before. So now you have this creative Hollywood event that will happen, right? And yeah, granted, it's a superhero movie, but I mean, the first one was so impactful to people of color and Black people. You know what I mean? So now, does it even do better because even more people will go and see it? Because there's some people who didn't want to see it because, oh man, why does it have all these Black people? But I mean, it still broke records. So now you might have people who have now come to the other side of that conversation because of Black Lives Matter and because of they've confronted the hard questions that they finally are asking themselves, and maybe they've come on those out. Maybe they've seen the light, for lack of a better phrasing. So what happens to that to that sequel when it comes out?
I don't know that it picks up more people.
I think it'll definitely still be a big hit.
Yeah.
I think if it picks up more people, to be honest, I think it'll be because if it gets released into the theaters, it'll be because people can go back to the theaters.
Yes.
Well, let's not do that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even 22 or 23.
Who knows how long this is going to last?
But let's suppose that we are back in theaters by then because they've got the vaccine. Does like it's kind of like the reason why I'm asking this question is kind of like, does the Black Lives Matters thing fade by that time, or does it only what I mean? Because you know how these things can be, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, that's tough to call. I don't know if it'll fade or not. This is one of those things where it's you would hope it wouldn't, but again, being old enough to have been around a bit, you've seen protests come and go.
Yeah, they're fickle. Remember Occupy? 99%.
Yep.
I mean, that's gone now. We're still dealing with income inequality. Kids are still in student loan debt. It's even worse now with DeVos in power.
Oh, yeah.
But that was mainly what Occupy was about. Was millennials or whatever the generation is after millennials trying to fight for their future.
Yeah, I was pretty heartened by the fact that some of those subcommittees were still working 6 to 7 years on, especially around housing inequality.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't heard anything from them in the last couple of years.
So, which was unfortunate because I was really hoping that would, and that was when Romney was running for president, 2012, y'all. Remember, I remember thinking he was a bad guy, and then look what we got now. I'm like, oh my god, now he's opposing the villain. He's on, for lack of a better, quote unquote, on our side now. So,
right.
I mean, Weird, very weird. Twilight Zone weird. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, there were like Fox News pundits who were like, "This cop should be in jail." Like, what? Fox News?
Yeah, well, Tucker Carlson just got some of his big sponsors pulled because he wants to go in and push back and toe the racist line again. So that guy's an idiot. So he even looks like an idiot. Whenever you think of a village idiot or a village like dumbass, I think of Tucker Carlson's face, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
He just
And you know, the thing is, like a lot of people, you think they're doing it for the check, but Tucker Carlson is the heir to the Swanson dynasty. You know, the TV dinners kind of stuff in the Swanson.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was a fan.
So it's not like he needs the money.
I was a fan of their sodium. Now I can't support them anymore. What a goober.
No,
Maybe it's just
don't
attention.
shame the goober name with him. Goofy goobers for life, man.
Oh, the candy.
SpongeBob. I'm a goofy.
Oh,
goofy
SpongeBob.
goober. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
But
man.
also the movie Candy.
You know, when you talk about Black Panther, I remember that scene where towards the end, well, I don't know if I should say it because it might be considered spoilers.
If they haven't watched it by now that it's free on Disney Plus and been on Netflix, you know what?
Fine.
Too bad.
Yeah, it's just us. We all watched it, right? Yeah, he said in the end, "Bury me with my ancestors."
Yeah.
And I thought it was so interesting because he said that to another Black man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like they live in two completely histories in different worlds.
Yeah, the ones that jump
Well,
in the
that was
water rather than
one
be
of the
slave.
underlying stories of Black Panthers. Like you don't know the struggle, kind of. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was just so interesting. But I think Black Panther, if it really came down to it, they aren't afraid to go there.
Yeah, and that's probably testament to Ryan Coogler, the director. You know, that's what also was so empowering about watching that movie. Was the fact that all the cast and the costume designer, there was and all the people involved were all from all over these areas of Africa and other places where Oakland even, and anytime I see stuff like that in a movie, from almost any culture, I think it's really cool. Like whenever I watch like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, and they're using mostly New Zealand actors or Maori actors, I think it's awesome. You know what I mean? When I see them, like even if I see like a more Eurocentric movie, and they're using like maybe Celts or people in that area, or or Gaelic origins, it's kind of cool because then it just adds more authenticity to it. So and it's good for local economics. So I'm definitely a fan of that as well.
And honestly, it's just really just being respectful.
You're
taking their stories, they're using it to basically profit. And the least you can do is include them.
Yeah. I want to see some more Filipino type of stuff though too. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I might have to learn how to speak Tagalog or something. So
What was it was an Asian martial art that they used in Black Panther.
Oh, the Arnis stick.
Is that what it is? That is Krav Maga.
Oh, that's Israeli.
Krav Maga is Israeli.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Krav Maga, but no, Arnis sticks is or scrima is however you say it is I think Filipino.
Okay. That's it. That's
apologize. Your phone died.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Plug it in and join back up.
I got more done on this dragon than I have in a while. So one of the next things I'm going to do is I have to film it for my YouTube channel though, is do a marker demo and try out the Ohu markers, and I'm going to do this epic doodle here and turn that into and have some fun with some color on this thing right here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Working
Hold
on
on.
this.
Step back for a second. I'll bring it up to full camera so we can get a better look. A lot going on. That's gonna be fun to color.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love painting myself out of the corner. You know what I mean? Working from like that's what I do with my layouts too, my comic layouts. I like a lot of panels, 12, 20 something panels, and like old school underground alternative comics or Kirby comics, like when they used to not do more of the cinematic stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I like doing more of the busier stuff than trying to make it work still. I leave the cinematic stuff to people who are good at it, like Brian Haberman and things of that nature. So the other direction I'd go in is more like a Frank Miller, playing around with stark blacks and spot coloring, and design layout type of stuff. So
Vincent, what's that character's name? I know she's fairly new, right?
yeah, what is her name? I was wondering the same thing.
Oh yeah, she's I forget her name actually.
I saw her on one of the covers in the comic store.
Yeah, the comic is Far Sector. She's the first black female.
Okay,
but those glasses are kind of ridiculous. Come on now.
But I like it.
It's like a Gundam visor. I think I can grow to appreciate it. You know,
it kind of reminds me of Kamen Rider.
No, okay, yeah. I was thinking Gundam, like Wing Zero or Epion's visor, because that's like models I have. Because they remind me of the glow when you put together the little tiny high grade models. You know, they have the plastic glowy green glow stuff. So, that's as high as I can go on a model. I barely could put those together. Forget a master grade or perfect grade. You know, so. Right. But I wish would come back in the live action is Robotech. I wish they would follow through on the Robotech saga.
They were trying.
Yeah, with Tobey Maguire of all people as Rick Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I don't know. Another space opera. Imagine seeing the SDF-1 in a live action. That could be pretty sick.
That's what I'm working on so far.
Oh, that is beautiful. Now you're using Chow ones for the skin tone, Chow ones to get those nice little cuts in the face as far as like building up the rendering of her tone.
It's the Copic Chows and then a hard white pencil for the softer highlights.
Yeah. This just goes to show that I have the same set and I can't pull that off. No, it's not the tools, it's the person using the tools. You've got very nice planes on the face, you know what I mean?
So you can see the pencil when you go up close, but
yeah, but no, I love the planes that you're doing with the cheeks and all that. Like if I sit there and look at I call them cuts, but I think that's only more of a digital coloring reference. But with the cheeks and all that, and the chin, look at that chin. That's sweet. How you made it, how the roundness you can get.
Well, she's got that kind of strap thing on the chin.
I'm talking about the chin with the fold right underneath the lip, and then you have that like it looks like the horizon of a moon. You know what I mean? So it looks round. I mean, the way you spotted that light source right there.
Mm-hmm.
I really dig that. And again, the cheek.
Yeah. Well, I just make it up as I go along. I don't know.
No, I mean, your planes are awesome. Your planes are the face. Even if you're faking it, they look good.
So
I'm gonna remember that when I color again. I'm gonna think planes. How do I'm gonna think geometry, planes. Like there's planes to the face and everything. With all these skulls around my desk, you think I'd actually use them. So
actually
the old Loomis head models, right?
Huh?
So the old Loomis head models.
Yeah. I don't have those. I have the books, though. I have a bunch of them, of the Loomis books. I was hunting them down on eBay and everything. Now I think they're finally reissued this set again, so I can just buy the regular new ones if I not to pay an arm and a leg for them. But yeah, Loomis is so technical. I still haven't gone through it. It's a lot of good stuff, but it's just like I'm a slow learner.
Really dense.
Yeah. So
So,
Vincent,
Ted, any other topics you want to tackle? No.
Did anybody watch the movie Detroit?
no, I just got done watching. What's it called? Something Mercy. The one with Michael B. Jordan and Jimmy Fox.
Some Mercy?
Thank you. Yeah, that was just like wow, that was intense. So I've been trying to teach my kids like Black history, and so we were watching different cinema that like Selma and all that kind of stuff like that. Because even though they're only part Black, they're even less Black than I am. I still want them to know where they came from, you know.
Yeah.
So between their Filipino roots, their German Hungarian roots, Native American, and then Black, and just so they can have empathy and sympathize with people around them that may not be
I say like every child should learn
yeah.
that.
There's some people that don't believe it should be forced on them in school. I'm like, the history books we grew up with were horrible, man. They were so anti-factual.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that's part of the system, though. You know, who creates the textbooks?
Exactly. So
They're still fighting to put creationism in the textbooks, science textbooks.
In science.
Yeah.
Yep.
Instead of evolution, they want creationism in there instead. I get being religious and faithful and things of that nature. I don't have a problem with that, but I mean, then I guess your church needs to start paying taxes then. And I'm all for spirituality and faith. I have no problem with that, or anyone of any faith. But you start trying to trample on everyone else's choices and their belief systems and try to force it on and defy logic and science and things of that nature. I don't know. Then you got a problem.
In my high school had a theology class. It was an elective.
Was it mandatory to take?
No, it was an elective.
Oh.
But it was a very popular one.
I bet it was interesting too. Like taking any humanities class is probably really
yeah
when you analyze the theology and whatnot, nice interesting stuff. I mean, you got to sometimes challenge your belief system or what you've been taught, just so that way you can upgrade and level up, or reaffirm. And if you can defend your belief system, like soundly defend it, then all you've done is added more to your tool belt and strengthened, strengthen your foundation. So, or you've learned something new and opened up a whole new world of possibilities and thought. So either way, it's like an upgrade. I am looking for something. I don't know what I'm looking for.
In my high school, I went to Berkeley High School. So it was kind of a historic high school.
Yeah.
It's the first public high school in the country to I think it was the only public high school to have an ethnic studies program in the school. I don't know if it's on YouTube. It might be on pbs.org. But there's an anniversary of Conference's Board of Education documentary that PBS did a while ago. And in one of those scenes, they filmed in my ethnic studies class.
Oh, so Jamie mentioned her phone died. I'm just now seeing that.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so it'll be interesting. So we got tomorrow's Thursday, so then the weekend we'll see what happens if there's a peak in as far as protest and the way the response is to protesting. So or if it starts to die down, if people who are into it for the fad start to find other things to go occupy their time with because the sun's out.
Yeah, I think that I think more than the news, I think looking at those organizations, their websites, and keeping up with their particular news,
Mm-hmm.
their updates, because I think the protests are inevitably going to die down, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to last forever. But the momentum I want to see continue is in the like actual solutions.
Yes.
So how is it that we're going to get young voters, the people who are out in the streets who are over 18,
Mm-hmm.
are they registered to vote? And if they're registered to vote, then give them all the information they need to go vote in November.
Yeah.
Portland or Oregon already had their primary. So, yeah, we're heading for November and seeing if we can get this guy out of the office.
We've had ours. That's a good. Yeah, you bring up a good point. There, wherever there's protests, there should be somebody registering people to vote. So.
Yep. It's
and
I'd
again,
also like to see. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Vincent.
Oh no, I'm good.
I'd also like to see more turnout for local level voting, your city council, and all of that. Because, prime example, there's one Hawaii council member who literally won by something stupid like 12 or 14 votes because literally no one voted, and he basically was in charge of millions of dollars. We're talking about infrastructure.
I don't know if you pay attention to Hawaii politics, but I think we have a transplant here who's like a local Proud Boys founder running for office.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so.
I don't expect him to win, of course, but it's just, hey, he's trying. They're trying to bring that
after
here.
Trump, anything's possible.
Right, yeah. All bets are off.
Like actually campaigning.
He's actually been campaigning that I've seen, but I haven't been watching the news really hard. I just found out about him the other day. It's like, you got to be shitting me.
There's a.
But I don't think he'll win, but he will get some votes. That's just reality.
So thinking back to Occupy, I need to go back and look and see how long those protests went, and then remembering that Mitt Romney made the 47% comment, which definitely didn't do him any favors. And then we had the election, and he lost. I'm sure there are other contributing factors to him losing as well. But if we can go back and analyze some of that and see if there's any parallels to what we're about to deal with here with these protests, the longevity of the protests, as well as the cycle coming up, I wonder if it gives us any type of insight into what we're about to face in November, or have the Republicans learned from the 2012, and that's why the voting suppression has been turned up so much more to try and avoid that. So, or we could be dealing with a whole different beast here, but just for conversational sake, I guess it would be interesting to see how long Occupy went for.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably just go to a Nate Silver website and look at his data.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing, though, right? Is that in the time that Occupy actually occupied the streets, there was not just street protests, but they were breaking up into different groups with different focuses, and so they were at that time also trying to figure out kind of long-term solutions and how to take that street protest and organize it. So that's why I'm pretty hopeful that beyond the street protests that are happening over these last couple of weeks and into the future,
Yeah.
that even if that stops or slows down or whatever, there are people behind the scenes who are organizing those people and organizing that energy.
Yeah. And then even the woman with the pussy hats, you know, what I mean, when they were out there in force, marching and protesting, and then what happened with the midterm elections, you know, like good stuff happened with the 2018 midterm elections. So all these protests that have been happening, I feel like are giving people insight and better systems to organize. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Ferguson riots and protests that didn't go so well, and unfortunately, a lot of those protesters are now mysteriously have been killed, you know, are dead now. You know, so I would love for change to happen with the Black Lives Matter, so that way we can go back and properly investigate. Because I strongly believe, and I'm sure a lot of people believe that there's something messed up about how all those protesters in Ferguson are deceased now. You know, and yeah, so we need Black Lives Matter to keep its momentum and to cause that systematic change, so that way you know, not only are sacrifices not in vain, but also because there's still stuff that needs to be accounted for that hasn't been.
Yeah.
So
I mean, another side effect of this is a lot of older cases that were either thrown out or resulted in the cops not getting indicted.
yeah,
They're coming back now. So and people are trying to kind of get that momentum for those cases again,
yeah.
with petitions and trying to get prosecutors to bring charges again. So yeah.
Yeah. There is definitely a shift because again, this wouldn't have been as mainstream, having like Goodell and all those people, even certain Republicans, come out on the side of Black Lives Matter, right? Um, they sense the wind is shifted, so otherwise they wouldn't be playing the game. They wouldn't be playing this game, right?
Right.
So there's definitely a difference and a momentum, and the wind has shifted compared to 2014 with the Ferguson protests, you know, and with Michael Brown's death. Um, now, now, as you said, what happens next? How do we put this into action? How does this go forth through the legislature, locally and federal, you know, and nationwide, to actually invoke the right change that needs to happen, the right protections? That's the other part of the equation, and that's with the election coming up. There's going to be a lot of pushback. So I don't know how this ends. I don't know how this shakes out.
I think I'm more hopeful now.
Me too. I feel like now we can win the election. I wasn't so hopeful before Black Lives Matter. This incarnation of Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter has been here for a while now, but yeah, I was thinking that no, Trump's going to win. He's going to fix it. He's going to win. But now it's like there might be so much of a landslide that no matter what they does or Russia does, he can't win. You know what I mean? Because now I feel like there's hope, and I didn't have hope prior to this movement coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go vote, but I still didn't have hope. You know, like I always will vote locally and you know, nationwide.
Yeah.
I think the local ones are almost more important these days.
They are, you know, and I've learned that I didn't know that. I'm still a relatively new voter in the sense that I've only been voting since 2008. You know, I used to be like the my vote doesn't matter crowd, but now it's like, no, I need to do something, try something, and and learning how local politics work, which is still very confusing for me. But you know, I'm getting out there and I'm still voting. I'm still doing what I can.
And that's the least that anybody can ask.
Yeah.
You know? If you can't do, to me, if you can't do anything else, you're too afraid to, I don't know, to go out and protest in the street, or you're not sure about Black Lives Matter as an organization to donate to them, or to any of the other organizations that are trying to help out the protesters and fight injustice. Just go vote.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I really hope
it's
that.
not just the president. I mean, you got your city
Yeah.
council, you got your some
Yeah,
people vote for law enforcement officers like the sheriff or the police chief.
Vote in general. Like,
Yeah.
vote everywhere.
I
Your
hope they
school
eventually
board.
do mail by voting. Yeah, I hope they pass mail by voting eventually. That way, there's less of this BS of playing around with people in the lines and switching things and making them, there's. I think about 95% of the voter fraud has been on the conservative Republican side, if I'm not mistaken. And somebody feel free to fact check me if they'd like to. I'm okay. I can admit if I'm wrong. I just not to my wife, but I can admit to anyone else that I'm, if I'm wrong. So.
I mean, what do you mean by voter fraud, though?
Voter. Well, like for example, like Trump trying to vote in Florida, but he's registered somewhere else. Like his whole family and half his the administration, his cabinet, people who are in charge of polling places, doing some tomfoolery, things of that nature. We won't even get into the redistricting game that they do. You know what I mean? To swing the numbers in their favor. So
I would go so far as to include the whole scandal. Like, I don't know if you guys believe that he hired the Russians to spread misinformation part. I wouldn't put it against him.
Yeah, I definitely think they're involved, with or without his help. So
yeah, Cambridge Analytical stuff. And
yeah,
all
exactly.
That.
I don't know.
Well, it's still going on though. The voter, the disinformation campaigns are still going on.
Yeah,
like OAM, which I mentioned earlier.
Everybody around Trump is like actually in cahoots with Russia. I don't know if Trump himself is smart enough.
Well, I don't know if they're in cahoots. I think some of them are compromised.
Yeah. But
yeah.
He always takes
he is.
You ever notice that though? Whenever there's something that he should come down on, he always comes down on Putin's side. Like when he's supposed to refute it. So I think he's been indoctrinated at the very least. So I definitely think he's an asshole.
He loves dictators.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably sees himself as one. Wouldn't outright call himself one, but he'd probably love to do everything a dictator does.
Yeah. I'm surprised he doesn't have a little hat yet. You know what I mean? Well, he does have the hat, but for his, I'm surprised he's not wearing like a Gaddafi hat or something.
Give him time.
He hasn't been able to go that far yet.
If he wins, that'll be the next step.
Yeah. Yeah, how do you come back from that if he wins? Like I don't know. Because then there's nothing stopping him from stacking the Supreme Court. He'll get at least one or two more justices, at least one more Supreme Court justice, because I don't think Ruth will be able to hold on for another 4 years. And then all the regular court judges, he'll get all them. And then he could pass all these other crazy laws and everything like that. Then he doesn't have to worry about losing an election. So he has the next 4 years to basically, f shit up, basically. So, I don't know how we would come back from that if he wins again. There'll probably be there'll be a second impeachment. I guarantee it, but it won't win. You know what I mean? It won't. The Senate won't vote to convict or anything like that. But I definitely think that the Democrats hold on to the House. They'll vote to impeach him on something else because he does plenty of crimes, in my opinion. So if he wins, you'll see a second impeachment trial, but then nothing will come of it, and then he'll be free to do what he wants.
I think the only way you would then be able to combat that is on the local level, voting their senators and representatives in who feel very strongly against him. And
This is true. Because even Republican governors didn't obey him with this pandemic and stuff like that. They're like, yeah, no, you know what I mean? So if it wasn't for local governing and we would be in worse shape, I think, if we listened to him and his administration. Remember, the guy didn't even acknowledge a virus happening, for the longest time.
Yeah, we need to remember that the system does have checks and balances.
Yeah.
Does it?
Very loose. It's like a net,
In theory, it does. We've seen that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's true. Because they know how to play the game. They know how to tip the scales in their favors.
I mean, Ball's been stacking the deck for him right and left.
Oh yeah, that guy is. Oh my God! Like at least some judge finally rebuked him today. Did you see that? The judge that read the whole unredacted Mueller report, and then when they try to get Flynn off, the judge is like, "What are you doing?" And so he's given Barr status now, and that was a judge that was appointed by Clinton, though. So that might be why. But yeah. So now, my hope is that they go ahead and put Flynn away. Because Trump cannot pardon him, from what I read today, because of what the Justice Department already did in the Flynn case. So Trump can't pardon him. So now it just comes down to the court battle to whether or not Flynn's going to get go scot-free, or if he's going to actually go ahead and serve time and get indicted. But Barr is definitely trying to grease the wheels. He is Trump's lackey.
Pretty completely.
Yeah, like
very thoroughly.
The audacity of how they act in public.
And it's funny because I remember when Barr was appointed, you hear people like, oh, he might be reasonable.
Remember that? So do I. Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the pundits, even the progressives, CNN ones are like, oh yeah, he's got a record for doing this and that. He'll keep Trump straight. Holy shit, he sold you all out. So no, even the generals couldn't keep Trump from doing anything crazy.
Well, you had to at least Mattis finally spoke up, but
yeah, too little, too late.
Kind of.
Yeah. All the watchdog people getting fired left and right. So you're right when you question whether or not the system of checks and balances is still there, because it's being chipped away. But also, Tiff is right when it comes to locally making sure that those systems are there and reinforcing those checks and balances on a local level, because at the end of the day, that might be all that we can do.
I think the benefit to Mattis and Colin Powell coming out is going to happen at the ballot with people who are kind of in the middle.
Okay, moderate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of giving them more confidence.
Yes.
To be able to vote against Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely hope that that you're right. You know what I mean? This is a situation where I want to be completely 100% wrong in everything I've predicted or thought. You know what I mean? Because if I'm wrong, that means America finally did something right. So I don't want to be right. with my gloom and doom, So I want to be wrong. Yeah, I want everyone to wake up and go, God, that was a bad hangover. After November, like, like every how in the movies when everyone wakes up and they're like, oh my God, what happened? So,
Oops.
but then should Trump lose, right, and everyone does wake up and go, oh wow, the nightmare is over. No, we have a lot more work to do than after that, and that's something that we have to remember. Because how did it get this bad? How did it get to this place? How did we end up with Trump? And that has to be addressed. Hence, Black Lives Matter.
I think liberals and Democrats are going to have to, I mean, they are now, take a good hard look at themselves.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, kind of like at a tipping point where it's like America needs to decide what it wants to be. Like you want to live up to the hype, or you want to just keep cosplaying.
Like literally.
Actually, I'm a coin of phrase. Are you ready? Not cosplaying, but cost playing. Okay, there we go. You heard it here first. I gotta make
they were literally cosplaying the memorial that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer did with the what do you call it? What do you call those? The scarves?
Yeah, I don't even know what they're called. Like I haven't even read the article. I've seen the pictures, and I kept moving on. I was like, I got other stuff to worry about.
Yeah. But it, like literally cosplaying.
I'm like, get back to work. Put them bills into place. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I need. I don't need you kneeling. I need you standing up, on the floor and making policy. Yeah. Does he have any more State of the Unions between now and the election? I don't think he does. Does he? Do we know?
No.
Okay. You can't try and trot out any black people in the stands. I wonder if he'll have.
That's one of the things I worry about with that appointment of that Air Force general is like, try and prop that up. I can't be racist. I just pointed this guy.
Yeah. And will he have them at the rally in Tulsa? What if he pulls a whole switcheroo and says, I did it here because I wanted to acknowledge the massacre and all that kind of stuff, and we can do better? No, he can't do that because he has to appeal to his base in Oklahoma. See, this is like watching sports, trying to figure out what they're going to do, Scary sports.
But he's the best for black people. He's done the best things for black people.
For all people.
Yeah, he specifically said he's been the best for black people. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, it's about to be midnight over here.
Oh yeah, you're in the East Coast.
Yeah, you all are you're in West Coast, and I don't know, and Tiff is ahead of us. And day ahead. And Michael, are you on Pacific time as well?
Hawaii time.
He's on Hawaii time.
What is Hawaii time?
We're 3 hours earlier than Vince.
Okay.
So we're about, I think you said Ohio. I think we're 5 hours earlier than you.
Or 6. Yeah. Yeah.
It's 6 there.
Or 6 hours. 6 hours earlier than you.
Okay.
But it's 6 o'clock over there.
Yeah, 6 p.m. here.
Oh, so it's only dinner time for you.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty close to done.
I didn't think we go as long as we did last time.
No.
I throw some purple in there, man. It's just anytime I see that green and that like the color, I start begging for purple.
Oh yeah, I might outline it in purple
or
black or something.
I love that visor. That's so nice.
Yeah.
like if she's got a rocket, then just own it, right? And that came out really cool. I like that.
Yeah. Actually, the latest issue 6,
Mhm.
I like her better with her hair down,
Okay.
like outside of her costume.
Mhm.
That's you can see it.
Okay. Yeah, I can see the outline, but that's about it. Oh, there's a vibe. Okay. Yeah, I can't really see the colors though. It looks blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little dark.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, you should read it. Spar Sector, even though DC's whole shenanigans with diamonds are.
I could sit there and lie and say I don't have time to read comics or I don't have the money for comics, but then I have DC Universe. If I wait a year, as long as they don't change that, I can read it on there. Like I started reading Batman Metal because I never read it,
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's kind of weird trying to read comics on the TV. So
You can't do it on your tablet?
I could probably if I remember to log into it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm so behind on things I need to do. Like there's so many things I would love to read for pleasure, and there's just so much I need to accomplish right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? I go get in fights with Republicans and racists on Facebook instead. Yeah, which I'll probably do when I get out of here. I'll go climb in bed and start seeing all the people yell at me in the comment section.
Vincent Darren says that looks awesome.
Oh, thanks. I just get into fights with other liberals.
Here's one.
Yeah, you do with the purity contest.
Kind of. It's more about respectability politics.
Yeah. I mean, I try to be tolerant of other people on my Facebook. You know what I mean? Which is why I don't delete them right away until they start getting really crazy, and then I'm like, okay, you got to go. Or if they say something racist, then I'm like, oh, you really got to go. Then other than that, it's almost like I want them to defend their position because I want to know where they're coming from or why they're coming to those conclusions. And then I want to be able to counter it, or other people in my comment section be able to say, no, well, this is, discuss it and debate it. But then usually it goes into a complete, mess. And then I even get my friends that are liberal yelling at me, why are you letting us get picked on? I'm like, well, you started it, like defend your position and tell him why he's wrong. Like get him on our side. So, but sometimes you can't do that. And then sometimes they expect me to sit there and moderate the discussion. I was like, I didn't even know you guys were fighting. Message me on my thread. So that's probably what's happening right now. My timeline's probably blowing up on all the different topics, with people yelling at each other, and then I have to go in there and I don't know, just see what's going on. But they're all adults. I don't feel like moderating them. I'm like,
hey, you don't have to.
Yeah. But, so what's next for you all?
Tomorrow is the day job again.
Mm-hmm.
We have the printers are back up and running, kind of, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to get a bunch of books out for the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's about it. I have a couple of commissions I have to do.
Nice.
And to post these drawings weekends for people to bid on.
Okay.
If we get a little bit of money for the bail projects. So.
Did you get any bids on your other ones, or did you post them yet?
I haven't put them up yet. I decided to just throw them all up at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna do that over again.
You want me to send you my scans, or?
Oh yeah, if you want me to put those up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Who can flip a piece of artwork like nothing, and like it's so quick, it's crazy, is Dan Hip.
I thought you were gonna say Scotty Young.
Oh well, yeah, probably Scotty Young too. But yeah, I remember Scotty Young back in the old Cali days. Like I used to live in the same city as Scotty, and I had a studio in the same building as him, in Peoria, where I moved from to here.
Yeah.
He moved away also, but and my friends with him. But I used to remember Scotty Young when I used to live in Cali, back in the Artist Alley days. You know what I mean? So I remember him seeing him from there. I had no idea. I always thought he was a Cali guy. I had no idea he was in the Midwest till I moved out to the Midwest and I moved to the same city he's from. Yeah, but Dan Hip can put those little nice 2x3 index cards or artist cards with his signature style of Prismacolor, color pencils, markers, and the fine liner, and puts them up on that big cartel or whatever, and they're freaking gone. You blink and they're gone, and he sells them like 20, 50 bucks a pop. Like his stuff just flies. So it's
That's what I was saying about Scotty Young, because he would do those like 1 hour sketches in the morning.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he gets so much requests for commissions, he has to actually like be picky about when he does it and how much he's going to do.
Yeah, he'll post on Facebook asking people for suggestions for his sketches.
Yeah,
and then he'll just throw them up on his big cartel, and they'll go for like $500.
Gotcha.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, definitely benefits from doing a lot of covers to the
Yeah. And he also has a very particular style that a lot of people love.
Exactly. Yeah. So. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna bail, So thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Good talk.
Nice meeting you, Jan.
Thank you for.
Nice meeting you too.
Yeah, likewise. So, yeah, I'll try and if I come across any of your links, I'll try and share them. So and help get the word out.
Are you on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. Like I don't know how to use it that well, but I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, obviously.
What are you on?
Or I'm on Tumblr, but I don't know how to use that either. I'm on it.
So you want to plug it? What's your Instagram and your Twitter?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have a business card right here.
Is it Hunter?
Yeah. So my Instagram is at JM_INDY_Hunter.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, huh?
That's
so
a lot.
Like at JM Hunter. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm on that, and then I think that's also my Twitter. I want to say that's my Twitter as well. And then on Facebook, it's the Art of JM Hunter. So.
Cool.
I will definitely give a follow.
And
Yeah,
then,
I'll follow you all back. I think I already follow, Vince. I'll follow everyone else back too. So.
And then, Michael, this is being recorded, right? So this will be up on the YouTube channel?
Yeah, it'll be up on YouTube and Facebook.
In fact, I just saw somebody follow back. So who's that? Okay. Oh, that's Tiff, right? I just followed you back.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. So, yeah, I can't be one of those Instagram snobs where like I can only follow so many people, but because I have to have more followers than I follow people, because that's how you're supposed to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just follow artists back. I just I'll follow you back. I'll follow you. I'll follow you. 'Cause I'm a fan. I'm a lover of art. I'm a lover of creators. So it's like, why would I not like check them out and be inspired by my fellow artists? So, it may not make good business sense, but that's just I don't know.
You're in the wrong business if you're in it for the money.
Maybe I'll go into politics. No, I was kidding.
I mean, I'm terrible.
I'm not very savvy on the web stuff myself, so I don't worry about it.
Yeah, so I just need to do more covers like Scotty Young.
Yeah, do more TV covers.
So, more what?
TV covers.
TV covers, yeah. So, but yeah, thank you so much, and good luck with the auction, or and again, please link me so I can help share it around and mention it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
All right, have a good one, Dave.
All right.
Thanks,
See you
bye-bye.
later. Thanks. Just us.
Now what?
I'm almost done too, so I think I'm gonna head off in just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna head off too. I actually didn't brush my teeth, shower, or anything. So
You gotta
I'm
go to
gonna go
work.
do some. Nah, I just have to go not be dirty.
Is it morning there?
It is 1 p.m. right now.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I've got a long way to go yet. I can do it offline, of course.
Show yours again.
Siri.
Oh man.
I like the way you
Sleeping.
did her collar and her hair.
Yeah. Well, the collar I actually boogered up because it's supposed to be these are holes supposed to show the same color as this. But I messed up. I thought it was skin underneath.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's hard to tell though, because it's so detailed, you know.
Yeah.
It's hard to really see it from just the screenshots.
Well, no, because I was trying to go from memory.
Oh, okay. Man.
I can lighten it up some though. I mean, I pull up reference and then I do the sketch and then I put the reference away and try to remember what I did. You know.
I mean, that's even more impressive that you're doing that mostly by memory.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll pull up the reference every now and then, double check. That's why, like, I had this mixed up too. So
Yeah.
I wasn't streaming while I was drawing it, but I had made this the background color instead of the color of that. So I just went over the whole thing again, and then I flooded the blue areas with bluer so that it would stand back out again.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I make lots of mistakes while I'm drawing. It's just, you know,
yeah,
I've learned how to cover them up.
Yeah, that's good to me.
So, but yeah, I probably have a few more hours on this one before I'll be close to done.
Cool. Yeah, and just send me the scans when you're done.
I do have, you know, I have the loop cage that I started with at the stream, and I have the loop cage, and then the broken thin blue line.
Yeah.
I don't know if that might be too subtle for people though, but because you always hear about the thin blue line, where the police are the thin blue line protecting you, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when they break that blue line? That's kind of what I was going for there.
Yeah.
I literally just saw a documentary pop up on Hulu called Crime and Punishment. Let's see what it says. Chronicles the real struggles of a group of whistleblower cops in NYC as they fight back against the illegal arrest quotas they're pressured to abide by. It's made in 2018.
If you go to my Facebook page and read that essay by that former cop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the same, basically.
Yeah. Enlightening and depressing at the same time.
Mhm.
Like so many things today.
Right?
Oh, I see it. Confessions of a Former Bastard Cop.
Yeah. He says all cops are bastards. And you know, he was a police officer for 10 years. And if you look at the comment section, you know, you see other former cops chiming in too, you know. It's not like he's making it up, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
So those are the like I said, those are the silver linings I see out of this whole situation. You see people that weren't talking about it before finally talking about it, myself included. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could have been
stories
talking
like that
about
too.
this
Is like,
a lot longer. Say again?
oh, and stories like that too. Like, I feel like the protests have kind of given them the safe space to be able to come out, right?
Yeah, I assume that's, you know, I guess there's just a breaking point for some people. I'm glad that breaking point has been hit for some people.
Right.
You know, I mean, obviously it's not a great situation all the way around, but at least there should be some good to come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
One hopes, anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna have this lavender first before I stop.
All right. Well, folks, I guess we'll wrap up and say goodnight. It's been we went 5 hours last time. We went 3 hours this time. And, I didn't cuss as much, so I guess we're doing better. So for those of you still watching, I think it's just Darren. But take care. We'll catch you around. Say aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.